What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday! You guys made it to the end of the week. Give yourselves a big old pat on the back. Welcome to the All Sauce team right here on the Betting News Network. My name is Sweatpan Jesus. That is Vsauce. That is Jess Sook. So excited to have you guys with us to end your week right. Boys, the weekend is here. We have made it to the end of the week. We're ready to party. How are we doing today, guys? Ready to rock and roll?
Dude, I'm feeling great. Vibes are high. The slate looks
God,
fantastic.
you guys are wearing your same shirts.
Oh, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh.
Just let everybody see.
Let that sink in. Let it sink in.
W chat. Well, that lasted a good old 10 seconds of the show being normal. Absolutely love to see it. What's going on, Chew? Excited to have you in the chat. Thanks so much for stopping by. All right, everybody. It's happy hour. It's the weekend.
Oh, baby.
The best sound in the world.
Let's get
to it. Absolutely. As V said, beautiful slate. Football this weekend that we are going to talk about. We're going to do a week 6. We didn't get to do this last week as much as we have been. We were texting about this last night, that we didn't get to preview week 6 of the NFL slate as much on the show. And our bankrolls kind of suffered because of it. We didn't get to go through the entire slate. We didn't get to talk through everything. So we're going to do that again with you guys, go through game by game, kind of give our thoughts and analysis, and kind of lab some stuff live with you guys on the show at the end of the show. But before we do that, we're going to do, I think it's become this chat's favorite thing necessarily is Bozo of the Week. We're going to do Bozo of the Week. We're going to talk about NBA Eastern Conference preview. We did the West last week. We're going to go and dive into the Eastern Conference preview today. And then throughout the show today, you don't know when it's going to happen, chat. I know it says right there it's going to be after the Eastern Conference preview, but we'd like to keep you on your toes around here. We are going to be doing a giveaway today. We have these awesome new hats. We've been trying to get them out there for a lot of you guys. So today on Sauce Team, we are going to be doing a giveaway of our brand new All Sauce Team hat. So, I know. Gerald's ready for you guys to glaze. Apparently, you guys have some other people that might be watching today. So if we have some people that have never watched the show before that know these guys, welcome to the show. You guys don't know me, though. So, hi. How's it going?
It would be more awkward now if they didn't show up, right? So,
yeah.
Right?
The best part of it is
it's like when you invite like a girl out or you invite somebody out and you tell everybody they're coming to the party and then they don't show up. So I'm hoping that's not the situation we have on our hands.
Seems like that happened to you a lot. That's your go-to example.
Okay, mister, I've been married for like 60 years. Okay, whatever.
Absolutely. 60 years, 100%. Thanks for joining us on the channel today, guys. The show is brought to you by our sponsors at BetOnline. Get involved with everything betting all over the market every single day with BetOnline with that cute little QR code at the top corner of the screen. Get $1,000 dropped into your account and $10 if you use our promo code BNews directly in there. So get involved. Best lines in the biz. You guys know the deal, chat. All right, boys. I'm excited to talk about the NFL Week 6. I've already got 5 plays locked in. That I'm very excited to discuss with you chaps. Actually, I've got 7, 5 props and 2 sides. So we know how that goes.
It's this whole now writing for the NFL with betting news. It's done one thing to my bankroll, and it's good. It's been good because it causes me to bet singles way more and way more often. But by the end of the week, once I'm doing that last NFL piece or putting out that touchdown piece, I kind of sit back and I realize, okay, hold on. I've sprayed the board once again. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But that's what NFL's about, right? It's Sunday.
I mean, it's only 17 weeks. So you got to get in and then get out and then realize that we've got a bunch of NBA after that. So there you go. All right. But before we get into all of that, let's get everybody's vibes moving into the weekend. Crack a beverage with us. And we're going to talk about, every single week, it just seems to be more and more of these guys just keep rolling around. So we're going to give you guys our 3 bozos of the week. All right. So this week, it wasn't hard. And V, I'll let you kick us off because you were the one that wanted to do bozo of the week this week. So take it away, brother. Get involved. Who wears your clown nose this week?
Slick, throw up the graphic. My bozo of the week is a well-known media company that I used to tune into and I used to read all the time. Bleacher Report. the stuff that they've kind of delved into now with everything and how clickbaity articles have become and how sports media and sports media attention is just about grabbing somebody's attention for a few minutes, getting an angry reaction out of them and making them want to post something, throw it out there, do something like that. And honestly, it's something I caught myself doing all the time last year, retweeting articles that I didn't agree with just to kind of share my opinion on how much I disagreed with that opinion, right? This year, I'm making a point to not do that. I'm not going to share this stuff. But you know what? This one article just annoyed me way too much, and I thought it had to be brought up here. It was this Bleacher Report article. I'll share the article in chat, but it's why your team won't win the NBA championship in 24-25. It makes no sense to me why this is even an article. We could take the time breaking down each team and what their outlook is going to look like on the season, getting into win totals, getting into all of these things. But instead, Bleacher Report thought it would be good use of their time and their money to pay someone to do this article just to rile up every single fan base. You can see it with the Celtics one. I'll start there because I know everyone thinks that's why I'm the most mad. The title headline, repeating is so 2018. What does that even mean? Where's the analysis? Where's anything like that? With the Hawks, it's Cooper Flag isn't walking through that door this year, and he probably isn't next year. What? What are we doing, right? With the Bucks, it was, I don't know, they give out injury coupons for ankle injuries. What do we like? It makes no sense. None of these articles are for anything. It's just so each fan base hops in there, clicks through that. You know how Bleacher Report works now with the little click through articles. It's so annoying. And all it is there for people to post screenshots, post angry reactions. And the writer of it's actually having a great time. He's getting a lot of interactions. People are tweeting him all kinds of angry stuff. But we know that's what pays the bills these days for these media companies. It's ESPN, it's Bleacher Report. I thought Bleacher Report wasn't like that, but it just goes to show why I haven't been reading their stuff in quite a while. But just absolute bozo article. Didn't like it at all. Didn't even waste my time reading the entire thing. But yeah, that's my bozo for the bozo of the week. Yeah,
Well, I
absolutely
mean,
fast money.
it's one of those situations at this point, and it just is. It's the way that we're going as a society. It's not. It's unfortunately all media, not necessarily just sports media, but everything is designed to have a short self life to literally just rile up a group of people to get a reaction, whether it's good or bad. I mean, it goes back to the old adage of like, there's no such thing as bad press, right? Like, if you're saying a take that maybe is really negative or causes a bunch of clicks, like you did the job, like the job was done, which I've always hated. I've never really been a big fan of doing things just for clicks and like clickbait type stuff. And unfortunately, we're living in a world nowadays where like if you don't want to get to that particular point of the Bleacher Reports, the ESPNs, the the scores, the Yahoos, like if you don't want to get into that realm, or if you want to get to that realm, you have to kind of sell your soul for that type of content. I mean, we've seen it with ESPN. It's not our bozo of the week because I feel like we'd just be beating the dead horse of the fact that ESPN sucks now. But like, they hired Cam Newton to be next to Stephen A. Smith, and so they can yell at each other. And I mean, I don't hate Cam Newton. I think that his podcast is funny sometimes, but like, there is no way in the world that I would want to sit there 5 times a week and listen to Cam Newton talk sports. Like, no. He's up there to argue with Stephen A. and give them clickbait content. Like, it's terrible.
And like again, I'm going to be ranting about Stephen A. Smith, but I think guys like him and my other homie Nick Wright are reason and most to blame for this because they're the most watched, right? They are the most talked about. They are the ones with the biggest social media followings right now, unfortunately, even if it is people just kind of hate watching them. But because of that, we've kind of now taken a turn into media where it's more important to be loud and be opinionated rather than talk about stats, talk about actual ball, talk about any of that. And I think it applies to all sports now, right? Like you said, with Cam Newton, the guy who a lot of the things he says, like, and he's in the media because of the weird things he does, like the whole Shadur stuff that was going on in Colorado, all the things that he says about different QBs, how he says if Eli gets
okay. Sorry, V. So I don't know how Cam Newton is catching a bunch of strays right now.
Yeah,
we were on Bleacher Report, and I'll go on the other side of this. I've been reading this for a couple of years. They've been putting out this article. This is not the first time they've done it. I know they're rage baiting every fucking fan base, but some of this shit is really funny, V. I laughed at some of the reasons why your team isn't going to win, but one of the reasons that I thought was actually pretty good, just to play devil's advocate and defend Bleacher Report a little bit, they said scared money doesn't hang banners. for the Nuggets.
I
And
did
that
see
is
that one.
absolutely motherfucking true. That team is not paying guys. It's letting the roster fluctuate in the sake of saving money, like letting KCP go. So while this article is definitely out there just for rage bait, I thought there was a little nugget of truth in there sometimes, reading some of the reasons these teams aren't going to win.
I agree. There was a reason I didn't bring up that one for sure.
Well,
There was a couple
you
of
can
ones.
put
Yeah.
lipstick. You can put lipstick on a pig, and it's still a pig. Like, it
You
doesn't
get
change
30
the-
shots, you're gonna hit 2 or 3 of them, right? Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll.
I guess yeah.
Stook, is yours the other one? I didn't think you had one. Did you find one before we got started?
I do have one. I do.
Okay.
Do you want to go
finish
first?
this off, or do you want to go?
I'll finish us off.
Oh yeah, you will. All right, I'll swing. So the reason why, so V's kind of in the same realm, and I feel like we're always just hating on other sports media. Like there is a lot of great sports media analysts out there that deserve a lot of really awesome flowers and things like that. And you guys tune into this show and what we do every single week because hopefully you like what we have to say, or you just like bantering with us, or you guys are Gerald and you just love us.
You're stuck with us.
Yeah, facts. But the reason why I don't like the whole point of what the Cam Newton and ESPN and Nick Wright and what we were just talking about is because it's created this trickle-down effect in the rest of media and society and podcasting and stuff of like, if you have some sort of platform and you're loud, then you like automatically like, and you can cut some videos together and throw it on TikTok. Like your opinion matters and like what you say is actually important. That is why I hate this next person, and he is my bozo of the week. He's honorarily the second time been my bozo of the week, but today he had another take.
Didn't even have to make a new graphic.
No, I didn't. Yeah, thanks. You're welcome. Thanks for that recycle job. Gilbert Arenas makes an appearance once again as the bozo of the week. I got a great editing department, brought up something today, and I don't like the Celtics that much. I'm with the fan, obviously hang out with these guys. I don't dislike them, but it is crazy at this point to listen to the Glaze all the time. However, I can agree with these gentlemen that Joel Embiid to me is one of the most, I would say, overrated basketball players in the NBA, in my opinion, from a longevity perspective. And Gilbert Arenas came out on his podcast, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before or something, but he came out and said that first of all, Joel Embiid is the best basketball player in the NBA. And that if he did not get injured, his legacy would go down as better than Jokic's, and it's not even a question. He also was trying to make a point that the 65 game rule has like robbed Embiid of MVPs when that rule's only been in account since last season. Mm-hmm. And I hate even giving this guy airtime at this point because it's obvious that he just purely doesn't know ball, which is wild because he played ball pretty well. But listening to this guy talk about the game at this particular point is just baffling to me. Joel Embiid's a good basketball player. I'm not saying that he's not a bad basketball player, but like part of being a professional athlete, and we talk about this with football a lot, is one of your biggest attributes, and is a part of your game, is availability. You have to be available to play the game that you are paid to play. That is a part of the job. That is like somebody being like, wow, this singer is really, really good, except for the days that they can't sing. Then they're just not good. Like that's part of the gig. You got to be able to do the gig you are paid to do. Joel Embiid has health problems. He's always had health problems. He will continuously have health problems until he does not have a career in basketball anymore. It's just such a shitty take. I don't like most of the content that Gilbert Arenas puts out into the. Let me read this from Gerald. I'm going to be controversial, but for Gilbert, this is an anti-European take, and he constantly talked down on European players his career. This is more to discredit Jokic than it is to pump Embiid, but Embiid's a foreign player too. Are you saying just anti-European specifically or anti-American players? Because Embiid's not American. He played on the American
No, but
team,
he thinks of Embiid as an American player because now he's carrying the U.S. passport, and like not to make this a race thing, but I think Gilbert Arenas kind of does make this like a little bit of a race thing. You know what I mean? There's a problem he has with this kind of stuff. And the other thing I'll say about this is surprise, surprise, winning doesn't matter to Gilbert Arenas. Oh, who's surprised by this? He hasn't won anything in his career. He was just like he had 2 to 3 good years in the league where he was making exciting plays. Outside of that, he's more known for his podcast than he is for that sweet ass nickname he has that I just forgot about.
The crazy thing to me is that like you would think a guy, and again, this is an overarching conversation that we could probably talk about for hours about why sports media now is just in such a weird place. Like this guy has a platform that gets paid a lot of money to talk about his basketball takes, and the crazy thing is that I feel like that a lot of the people that do this consistently every single day, like the stuff that Nick Wright says and the stuff that Stephen A. Smith says, I think a lot of it's a bit. It's become a bit, and it's become a part of their personality to make it a bit because they're making a lot of money doing it.
They
I
just want to
truly
be
believe,
clippable.
exactly. I believe that Gilbert Arenas actually believes this shit, which is even worse because it's like, are you even watching this stuff, dude? Like, you cannot tell me that you think that Joel Embiid is a better overall long-term basketball player than Nikola Jokic. You cannot look at me as an NBA fan and just say that unless you're, a 76ers fan through and through and like can't see the logic of the situation. But like it's just crazy to me that it's even a conversation. I don't have to talk about it anymore. We could spend the whole show talking about this, which is maybe good content. You guys want to see it, but he's such a bozo. Fuck this guy.
Say it with me one time. Your best ability is your availability.
Mm-hmm.
Why has Kawhi fell out of people's top 15s? And I'm saying top 15s. He's obviously a top 15 player skill-wise, both on the offensive
That guy
side
hasn't
and
even
the
practiced
defensive
yet,
side.
mate.
Sook doesn't even put him in the top 20.
No,
And I don't
either.
think that, yeah, exactly. And Sook, our resident NBA Rain Man, doesn't even put him in the top 20. And it's all because of his injury. If you're not playing, it doesn't matter. And Joel, when push comes to shove, he's not playing. So
yeah. I don't blame
why
players when they're not available, but like if you're not available, it's hard for me to include you in every single conversation. It sucks, but it's just like health is just like a vertical jump. You have it, you don't have it. That's just how it goes for you. And I'm sad if you're injured all the time, but if you're not available, you're not contributing to W's. And I can't sit here and say Embiid is better than Jokic in any facet. Even if Embiid was playing 70 games a season, I still am not saying that.
yep.
I would say that maybe that Embiid is a better pure scorer than Jokic. Maybe. Like that's the only thing. But like he's also a 7-footer.
Mhm.
And Jokic plays way more basketball than Joel Embiid does. Yeah. Exactly.
I would also argue, we're going to see it again this year, is that Embiid spends a lot of time hitting the ground looking for fouls. And that's another big reason why you end up hurt. When you're 7 foot, what is he, 4? Like, I don't even understand how big that guy is. But like, with 7'4", 350 pounds, you hit the ground with a lot of force.
Embiid said he lost 25 to 30 pounds coming into this season. I don't know if I believe him. We'll see. But he said 25 to 30, which is a fucking lot.
The
Yeah,
NBA had
it
to
is.
make a rule, and it's a good rule, I think, that you have to play 65 games in the season to qualify for being the MVP. Purely because of this guy and his, like, what he brings to the table, right? I mean, we've talked about it with football. Look what Derrick Henry does with his body. That guy spends millions of dollars at this point and all of his time staying healthy, being available to play one of the hardest games from a physical perspective.
Did you guys see that clip of LeBron talking about his health and how much he's like, I know there's all the talk about going around about how much money I spend on my body, right? Everybody's concerned about that. I'm not going to reveal that, but the time I spend on my body. Then he went through it. Red light, saunas, ice baths, cryogenic chambers, what do they think that Goku used to do? The hyperbaric chamber. Like it's crazy. It's crazy, right?
Dude, even he posted his routine just before practice. It's his like a core routine and strengthening and lengthening routine for stretching. And even that'd be my full fucking workout. And
Dude,
he's doing that before practice.
His Savannah literally says, she's just like, I hate the hyperbaric chamber because it's giving coffin, and I lost it.
It's just wild to me.
You still gotta keep up though, Gerald. Even with the HGH and the test, you still gotta keep up, man. Like 39 years old and you're the 5th best. They're top 5 in the NBA right now. Come on, he's 65.
I just think that it's crazy to me, and then I'll cut this, and you can give your bozo. I think it's further of a deeper concern and an issue for me on the fact that like people pay attention to this type of stuff. And the great part of it is like the last 2 takes that we've talked about with Arena specifically when he talked about fucking Steph and that whole malarkey. and then what he said today. Like I go and read the comments, which again, you're looking for engagement and you're baiting people so that hey, good job at work. But all the comments are like, wow, this guy's a fucking idiot. So I mean, like at least people are recognizing that he's an idiot, but
Never.
like he's up there to be an idiot, you know? And it's like that is the part of this to me that's just like, can we just fucking just get this guy off the top? I mean, they got rid of Skip Bayless eventually. Maybe one day this guy won't be on a podcast anymore.
Hey,
Oh,
at least he has to find his
staying
own
on.
show.
Yeah, it's his own show. They're sitting there on a fucking big U-shaped couch with fucking red Solo cups. That show ain't going nowhere. That's a low cost of production.
Yeah.
My fire alarm is about to continuously beep for the next hour if I don't press a button. So I'm listening, but go ahead with your Sook.
I was just
Okay.
about to say, who was that?
That's me.
Speaking of, oh, there you go, Kev. Kev heard it too. Speaking
Yeah.
of the Lakers, great segue. The Lakers were just playing a preseason game against the Milwaukee Bucks. I had no idea the fucking sorry state of this coaching staff, and I'm so fucking excited to talk to you boys about it because this is a coaching staff that does not inspire anything. Doc Rivers is your head coach. We love him. Big fan of the program. Darvin
Special
Ham.
guest next week, chat.
Darvin Ham is the lead assistant. The Lakers fired coach who, by all accounts, since he's been fired, no player posted, "Oh my God, Darvin Ham, thank you for being our coach." Literally, they let that guy go, and no one said a word. And now all of the fucking rumors is that this guy couldn't coach his way out of a paper bag. Then you got Dave Yeager, short stint with the Grizzlies. Joe Prunty, who's been an interim coach a few times, never an actual head coach. Vin Baker, kind of good career, but not the best coach. And last night against the Lakers, these boys were up 89-74, and they lost that game. These dudes were just sitting there, not doing shit, as the Lakers had an undrafted rookie out of Xavier put up 11 points in the fourth quarter, pick up his dude 90 feet for the entire time he played, and he brought the game back single-handedly, taking pull-up threes, step-back threes, and literally the Bucks did nothing until they lost that game.
Can I just say this is going to be the new this year? Darwin Ham.
These old-ass dudes just sitting there doing nothing.
The Bucks gonna buck.
So I gotta say, I know you can say whatever you want. It's the preseason, blah, blah, this and that. Every game matters. You should be coaching your ass off in these games, and you should be getting the guys late in the game that are playing good minutes and having them play real game speed minutes, not this kind of stuff. You should be adjusting to the game. This is real stuff. This is the reason we play preseason games. Doc Rivers doesn't adjust in the postseason. What are we talking about? He's going to adjust in the preseason, right? Darwin Ham's hands are still in his pockets. And like you said, Joe Prunty, guy who has been an assistant that has made no kind of impact anywhere he's been on any coaching staff. And then Dave Yeager, who I didn't even remember he coached the Grizzlies. That's how quick his stint was. So I didn't even know
he was
this.
right
so
after the
I'm
grit and
shocked.
grind. Yeah.
And then Doc Rivers had the audacity to come out and say that the Lakers shouldn't have fired Ham after a conference finals trip, right? Like, are you joking? Are you serious? You literally were the reason that Adrian Griffin lost his job as the Bucks were first in the East. And then on top of that, you're going to give Darwin Ham credit for AD and LeBron carrying that Lakers team to a Western Conference Finals. Mm-hmm. They're the only reason that I think the Lakers could finish 4th or 5th in the West this year is because a healthy tandem of those guys can do disgusting things in the league. And now with the, coach that's not fully inept like Ham, I think that they could make some noise this year. But the audacity of this entire coaching staff, all of this stuff, garbage, get it out of here. Giannis deserves better.
Real quick, just to answer this, I think he's going to be a great coach. What he said post-game, yes, Sook is going absolutely mental. I am watching NBA preseason post-game interviews. Redick talked about how a guy in Olivier's position, not that he'll be in that position in the regular season, but that's what they need out of the 2-guard spot. They need someone that's going to come downhill and put pressure on the defense and score points. Someone not named LeBron James or Anthony Davis. Whenever JJ Redick answers a question, I listen. He is very, very articulate. Don't get it twisted. He does not have very much experience coaching, but he has a lot of experience winning in the NBA, staying in the NBA as a long tenured journeyman. This is not a guy that relied on athleticism, but still had a 15, 16-year career. I put a lot of stock in that.
I agree. I mean, we're going to see how this plays out. Like, we talked about it a lot in the offseason. We talked about it when he got brought in to be the head coach. I loved the move when they did it. I thought that it was going to be the move. We talked about it when he and LeBron had the podcast. It just made sense, right? And at this point, the Lakers have established that LeBron is there, and when LeBron is there, they're going to ride this LeBron train until there is no more train anymore, and then we're moving on to the next thing. What do you got to do? You got to bring in a head coach that vibes with your best player and also is going to vibe with this entire locker room. And it seems like so far from everything that we've seen is that JJ seems to be that guy. And as you said, so JJ knows ball. And these guys needed somebody that knows ball. Whether he is able to do it when the fire is the hottest, when it's 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and is he making the right timeout calls? Is he calling the right plays? Is he putting everything together the way he's supposed to do? We'll find out. But there's no way to figure that out. I made the comparison when we were talking about this over the summer of right after the finals because, Jason Kidd was there. Jason Kidd was one of the best floor generals of his era at that time. And yeah, Jason Kidd's had a lot of stops previously before becoming the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks, but Jason Kidd views the game in a similar type of analytical perspective in the same way that JJ Redick does, a little bit of a different position, but floor generals, people that pay attention, people that listen, people that study the game of basketball. And I think that on the other side of things, Steve Nash had the same kind of thing as Jason Kidd, and Steve Nash was a terrible head coach. So It's not just set in stone that it's going to work out completely. But I feel like that there is opportunity. And when JJ Redick got hired, no head coaching experience. Neither did Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd had zero head coaching experience when he got hired as a head coach. He bounced around. He was like head coach before it landed that he was a good head coach. But I don't know. I just feel like that some guys, it's like the whole quarterbacks getting drafted first round, throw them out there and just let them figure it out argument. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to let him sink or swim. And we're going to find out if he can swim.
This is a good segue.
Just wait. I didn't even, what? So it's only JJ Love then, huh? We don't want to play devil's advocate? No, JJ?
Oh, dude. Okay, V. You can do it, but I want you to watch the next JJ Redick press conference. This guy is as intense as Joe. You're gonna be a fan of his.
I fully understand, and I think that the reason I like this JJ hire, the only reason so far, I don't know. I think LeBron and AD can carry this team as far as they're gonna go, but I think JJ also gives this team an opportunity to develop players, and that's something the Lakers. I know Suk disagrees, but I don't think the Lakers have done anything to develop any players over the last almost decade-ish now in terms of who they've had, even maybe longer than that. It's been a while since you've seen a good product kind of come into LA and then get that much better and develop a skill set. Yes, playing alongside LeBron will improve your numbers, but how many players truly get better coming into the league and playing for the Lakers and then maybe earning another contract somewhere else or getting paid somewhere else, right? Like we saw Austin Reeves. We're seeing that a little bit with him, and I'm excited to see what Redick can do with them. In terms of this season and all that kind of stuff, I did kind of want to see a big name coach with LeBron, but again, there was nobody on the market. There was no one to bring in. There was no names that were put into the hat for this Lakers job because I don't think it's a job that a lot of people are willing to take. So good on JJ for having the balls to take it. And I have seen the intensity, but I do think that he could be a little bit easier on the media, having come from media himself just over the last couple of years.
This is an interesting
especially
point.
when they're asking normal questions. The Rui thing I thought was weird.
You got to have some.
Where they asked him, do you think Rui can take the next step? And then he just kind of came after the reporter. Well, what do you think the next step is? You're the one driving that narrative. He's a role player, and you do want him. He's a young role player. You do want him to take that next step and fill that kind of role that they wanted. That's a very normal question to ask, and he just kind of came at the reporter.
Joe is talking about fucking sharks and apex predators when he's answering questions.
Yeah, but he's not an ass to any of the reporters. He's just weird.
I would disagree.
I would 100% disagree with you. But yeah, let's move on.
Let's get to the Eastern Conference. This is good. We're talking about the Celtics. This is good.
Good transition.
But I thought this would be cool to go with. Sorry, SPJ, go.
No, I was just gonna say, chat. We love you guys, and drop who you guys think are your bozos of the week, and I hope it's not any of us. But there's a lot of other bozos out there, and let us know what you guys think about your bozos.
I will definitely be their bozo of the week. Once this Eastern Conference preview is finished, I'm gonna be at the top of everybody's list.
You'll be Hobies. You'll be Hobies for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Celtics fans. Al Horford.
There you go, Chad. I lobbed you your softball. Now hit it out of the ballpark.
There you go, Doc.
Oh man.
Okay, this will just go on this real quick. I thought this was super dope. I saw this on BetOnline. It's not like super serious. It's just who do you think will have more regular season wins? We always talk about kind of like Knicks or Celtics, so I thought this was dope. Like Mavs or Knicks, Sixers or Bucks, Timberwolves or Nuggets. Those are kind of more closely related. But my favorite was definitely the Mavs or Knicks comparison because Mavs is plus money to get more wins than the Knicks, which is shocking. If a lot of people believe the Mavs might return to the finals again, and if that's the case, you're looking at a top 3 seed. Maybe it's because the East is weaker. What do you boys think about any 3 of these matchups? Is there any you tap?
Just to talk about this Mavs one, I honestly do kind of like it. I think that the Mavericks are in a good spot. I think that after you make the kind of finals run that they did, this is the next step that you take. It's winning games during the regular season, getting better seeding. You've built the roster now. You've traded for Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington at the deadline last year, which was a great move. We saw the run that the Mavericks had in the second half of the year after the trade deadline with those additions. Now you've brought in a guy like Klay Thompson that you are touting as your third piece, as the missing piece for this team. I do think that this team is going to take that next step, and that next step includes home court advantage. That includes higher seeding, and I do think that it's going to be a little bit easier having to only fit Klay in on this roster versus a Knicks team that is now going to have 3 different starters, if not 4.
We'll get there. Five.
That's why I'm saying, right? Yeah. I would take the value in the Mavericks at plus 180 because I think during the regular season, they'll have a little bit less of a feeling out period than the Knicks will. Plus, the Knicks have to play the Sixers, the Celtics 4 times each. And those are going to be 2 of the top 3 teams in the East. Those 3 teams, the Knicks, the Celtics, and the Sixers, right? So those are going to be all hard-fought fucking games. Is it 6 times each or 4 times each? I would take the Mavs, plus 180.
Plus 180?
I probably will tap that button. I haven't seen these yet on there, so
I won't beat that horse, but I like that one a bunch. I'll make an argument for the Bucks though.
Sure.
The Bucks at plus 125 having a better record than the 76ers to me is incredibly enticing for 2 reasons. The first reason being we already kind of discussed this a little bit, kind of mentioning the whole Joel Embiid stuff. The 76ers are a Joel Embiid injury or a Paul George injury or both injuries to those players at being very middle of the road in the East. And that is very much so a possibility based upon, actually, it's almost a foregone conclusion based upon what we know about both of these players, that one of them is going to miss time this year. Whether both of them do, I don't know, but just from statistical backing, they both miss time. Maybe they both miss time this year. I get it, Kadar, but I'm just going off of the stats. Maybe they both, this is their season, they both don't get hurt, and then they make the finals, but I highly doubt it. However, the Bucks, similar conversation with the Bucks, with Dame obviously getting up there in age, and then Giannis coming off that injury. But I don't know, man. I got a sneaky feeling that Giannis is going to play like MVP Giannis this year. I got a feeling that Giannis is going to come out and just absolutely put his nuts over everyone's fucking chin this season. And if he does that, he can carry this team really, really, really far, especially in a weaker conference in the East. So to me, the value lies on the Bucks as long as Giannis can stay healthy. Based upon also the 76ers have 2 players that just live on the injury report.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That's actually great because before their current injuries, the abdominal injury and Giannis's injury, like these guys weren't hurt. They were notoriously like uninjured. They are reporting for duty every fucking day. So it's crazy that people are kind of doubting the Bucks. I really like that, SPJ, because we'll talk about let's go to this division now.
Okay.
This is the win totals on the left to win the division down the right. Boys, any initial thoughts? Vsauce. Let's just skip over the Celtics. Let's not even mention them. Unless SPJ has something to say. Me and V, we're not saying shit. I really like for the value here. I really like the Knicks to win the division because that win total is low.
V's just going to be silent during this section.
Hey, sucks that we're not talking Celtics, okay? What do you want?
I mean, all right. So just to give something a little bit different, and chat, you guys have heard me beat this drum, so I'm not gonna focus on the top part of this division. And when we actually talk about the players that we're looking at in each individual division, I went for the bottom dwellers to find some value, and you guys are gonna be like, ugh, SPJ, gross. But get grody with me, chat. The Nets, man. The Nets are winning 20 fucking games this year, chat. Now I even looked at this a little bit further. I've already tapped the button. I already tapped an over 19.5 wins. And I got plus money when I told you guys this. I told you, Kadar. I got plus money when I told you guys this like 2 weeks ago, and now it's minus 115. I'm just saying. I'm just saying they're winning 20 fucking games. And I'm going to talk about a couple of players that are going to help them do that in a minute. Did you guys know that the Nets got Bojan Bogdanovic?
Yeah.
Did you guys know that the Nets have Dennis Schroeder? Did you guys know that the Nets have Day'Ron Sharp, who can also take a step into this lineup as well?
Oh, dude. You've been fucking digging deep with this Nets team.
I've been looking at the Nets way too long.
I cannot wait till all of those guys are on new rosters before the deadline.
No, Darren Sharp will stay there. Second half of the season, we're betting Darren Sharp double-double. I promise.
All right. They're not going to trade Bojan Bogdanovic again. Dude, he's been living out of a suitcase for 3 years.
100%. He's a trade piece. That's why they signed him. They're not competing for anything. Why sign Bojan? He's going to be
okay. Let's just go to this. That's exactly what's happening here. These are the players to watch, but SPJ is exactly right. Bojan is going to be on a tour to try to get on a contender. Talk about it, SPJ.
All right, so if you're going to bring in a guy that we all like in Bojan Bogdanovic, who we can all agree that is a very good, not great, very good NBA basketball player that can help you win some games on a roster, right? The thing is, for me, if Cam Thomas can take a step and become a consistent game-threatening scorer like we have seen in flashes from this guy, then this team could be decent this year. If he sucks ass and he's still inconsistent, then they're not going to do anything. But I feel like Cam Thomas has all the capabilities to do that. Obviously, Bojan, what he brings to the building with the experience also helps out. Chad, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that I think Jason Tatum's going to come out and have a good season, or that Jalen, all these types of situations. So I went for a little bit more value. Also trying to tell you guys, when these lines drop on these first 10 or 15 games of the season, look for these players and their lines that they come out with. We talked about a lot of guys last year going into the season and their lines and how they fit into these lineups. And then their lines dropped, like we talked about Jaime Jaquez. We talked about, who was the other guy we talked about? We talked about Sengun last year. We talked about a lot of guys that were primed to have like kind of more breakout roles on the teams. And their lines were so low to start the season. And they were cashing with these. Not saying that every single person we talk about is going to be good, but look out for these players on these teams and how they're going to play in these games, and especially look at their lines and things like that too. So I really like Bojan on this Nets team. I think he's going to do some damage. I honestly forgot he even went there until I was looking at the roster a little bit deeper. And I think Cam Thomas can be a really good piece once again this year and maybe have some really big games.
I said we weren't going to talk Celtics, but I forgot V's dude was Peyton Pritchard. So V, break the rules. Go ahead.
There's just like outside of big guys in this division, there's not anyone that's really kind of exciting me. And I think I have a complete, maybe you call it a misread of the Knicks. I just don't think that it's going to pan out how everybody else thinks. So I don't have anything to say about that team. The only reason I want to talk about Peyton Pritchard is because of the steps he took forward last year. And I really think that he's going to come into his own in that backup point guard role this year. Jaden Springer is going to be that next kind of guy off the bench that they bring off defensively. He was a great pickup from the Celtics. And Pritchard's three-pointer is why this excites me. He's got a great percentage. He's a great shooter, and he's not afraid to take any shot in this offense. And when you're playing with a bunch of ball handlers like Tatum, JB, Drew, Derek White, you're going to find open shots eventually. Now, do I think he's going to win any kind of sixth man of the year or anything like that? I don't. But I think he's going to break out this season and really kind of put people on notice and like put a stamp on the league the way kind of TJ McConnell did last year. Yeah, I do think that. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
Gerald, drop a sub, dude. What are we doing? Gerald, watch ads.
All right, my guy is RJ Barrett. This is a guy that left the Olympics early after Canada was eliminated. Basically told his teammates, like, hey, I'm going to Toronto. That's my team. I need to go out and I need to go train there and I need to get acclimated. We saw in the second half of the season, this was a guy that we heavily targeted after the trade, and I expect some more of the same. We saw in the Olympics, he is getting more and more efficient. He is a former third overall pick, and I think in this Raptors roster, he has a chance to take another step, a step that may not be all NBA, may not be all star, but he's going to be one of those guys that could start on all 30 rosters. I'm very, very high on RJ Barrett going into this season. I'm going to be targeting his points and his RA specifically. I just think he's going to improve as a ball handler. And with Scotty Barnes on this team and Darko's kind of approach to the game, it's a European style game, up and down the floor. All five guys touch the ball. I think it's going to be fun. And like Prendy was saying in chat, the Raptors, that win total right there, 29.5, feels kind of low for a team that's going to compete. And if you're a Canadian or if you're just a fan of the Raptors in general, this is a squad. This is a team that has an ownership that believes we're going to compete year in and year out. Yeah, we'll have a bad year and then we'll draft a guy, but no matter what, we want to be good year in and year out. And so I think the Raptors win total looks nice. And I think guys like RJ Barrett, and I know SPJ, you're high on Scotty. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, it kind of ties in with what you're just talking about. And I mean, Prindy just said it in the chat, 3-19 last season without Scotty Barnes. I mean, Scotty Barnes has the potential to be, I don't want to say a superstar, but he's still a young player, has shown flashes of being
an all-star in this league. Do you remember that video?
Yeah.
Scotty Barnes.
I think that he has an opportunity. He's the cog that makes this machine go, which we saw last year. He is the fulcrum to their offense. I mean, IQ is awesome. I think that IQ is going to have another really good additional season on his second term here now in Toronto. And as you mentioned, with the gelling of RJ, fitting Scotty back into this and how that's going to transition. If the Raptors are going to compete at all this year, if they're going to win 30 games and do anything in the East, it's going to be because Scotty Barnes is A, healthy, and B, contributing, flirting with triple doubles, facilitating the offense, etc. So I think that he has an opportunity to have yet another breakout season. This could also be the best Raptors surrounding supporting cast that he's
around
been
Scotty,
around since he's been in Toronto. So to me, I think that I'm excited to see kind of how that plays out, and if he can stay healthy this year, what the Raptors can do.
That's great because, like chat is saying, there's O'Clinic. He is now there, a fellow Canadian from Kamloops, BC. He can stretch the floor. And then you also have Grady Dick, everybody's favorite memeable NBA player. He is going to take another step. If Shaggy was here, he'd tell you he was a great freshman in Kansas, maybe entered into the NBA a little early. But if Grady Dick can take a step, that's a guy that's going to help out RJ and Scotty a lot by getting out into transition and hitting those threes. He's tall, he's athletic, he's great.
There's also going to be multiple moments where Grady Dick's going to be able to jersey swap with some people this year. So we haven't even thought of them yet, but there's going to be some good opportunities out there.
Oh my God! Don't even get me
Derek
started.
White.
I saw somebody post on
Drew
Reddit.
Holiday.
I saw somebody post on Reddit that they wished Rudy Gay was still in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Jaylen Brown. The Celtics have too many swappable players.
Yeah,
always with the Celtics.
No, but like think about it. Holiday, Dick. That's hilarious.
Good one, B. Good.
My father-in-law's gonna come upstairs and look at me weird. I gotta chill.
All right, now moving on to the Central Division, boys. We kind of talked about the Bucks; they're kind of the favorites here, but I wanted to highlight the Cavs. This is a very interesting team. A few years ago, they were hosting the All-Star game. They had multiple All-Stars, and they were everybody's darling. Now, fast forward to last year. Donovan Mitchell, 55 games. Darius Garland, 50 games. I think Jared Allen only played about 50 games himself. This team went from everybody's darling to struggling. They had one of the worst offenses in the league. They were bottom third. They really, really, really regressed. Despite all the injuries, people don't believe that they're going to come back. They might think that they peaked. V, that article you sent us with Bleacher Report, the reason they said the Cavs aren't competing this year is because they peaked in 22-23. This new team now does have Kenny Atkinson taking over at coach, who was the former coach of SPJ's Nets. He was there when Jared Allen actually came into his own and became a really good player. Kenny Atkinson, I am very, very high on as a coach. He was a lead assistant coach for the Warriors for a number of years, was signed to the Hornets, saw the state of that franchise, and then reneged and ended up not being their head coach, returned to the Warriors last year to be another lead assistant. This year, he's returning as a head coach for the Cavs. He's implementing a different system that's going to utilize Darius Garland a little more, who had a rough go last season, boys. He hurt his jaw, broke his jaw, couldn't speak, couldn't eat, ended up losing a lot of weight, and we talked about it on the show. Very rarely does this happen, but a dude who takes a full three-pointer less in this new NBA like day and age, the Cavs regressed heavily. But the Pacers are a team that everyone is really high on, but you see that win total sitting only at 47.5 still. Boys, initial thoughts on this division, who's winning, any win totals standing out to you, and big lead off with this. Are you guys low on the Cavs like I am, or are you guys high on them?
I think I'm a little bit higher on the Cavs than you are. Not to say that I am high on the Cavs. Like, I don't love the value of plus 190. But the thing about the Bleacher Report article that you brought up was that annoyed me. If you think that this team peaked in 2020, 2021, was that what he said? Whatever the year was?
2022, 23, yeah.
22,
Yeah, if you think that they peaked, then you don't know ball, because Evan Mobley is getting better with every succeeding season. He has gotten better. He's a better rebounder. He's a better finisher. Yeah, he spent some time hurt last year. That really kind of hampered the Cavaliers. The thing you just said about Darius Garland is so big that I not only think that it affected him coming back, but it affected his entire season. Breaking your jaw is such a mental thing. You can't eat, you can't drink, you can't do anything for a long time. You lose all that weight, all that work you've put in to kind of get NBA ready for the season, everything like that. And now you're playing catch up for the entire year, right? We know that Garland is not what he showed last year. Garland was a all-star the year prior. He was a dude that was competing for MIP status, and he's a guy that everybody was looking at like, are they going to pick Garland or are they going to go with D. Mitch? What's the future of this Cavaliers team? Now, do I think that was a one and done for Garland? No, I think he's got the skill set. I think he's a fantastic shooter, and I think he's great at finding teammates in open spots. Plus, his attitude has been great with him and D. Mitch. You don't see these guys fighting. You don't see anybody blaming each other. You don't see anything like that. I really think that in today's NBA, where you need at least 2 to 3 kind of superstar / on the brink of all-star superstar status, you need that kind of team to compete.
Would you win the division then?
I honestly, at plus 190, no, because I do think that the Bucks are going to steamroll this year. I think that the Giannis revenge tour this year is going to be something that, like, people are having top 5s, top 3s, and nobody's included Giannis. It's like they forgot that he's one of the best defensive players in the game. He's one of the best finishers in the game. And if push comes to shove, he will just dunk on you.
I see you smiling, SPJ.
That's it. I love Giannis. He was going to be my breakout player for this category, but I was like, I can't use Giannis as a breakout player. But if he's going to average 35 11 and 7 this year, I think it's fully on the table. He's got a camp with him and Dame. He's got a full year, and he's hungry. He lost with Greece in the Olympics. He lost with the Bucks last year in the first round. The revenge tour for Giannis this year is gonna be insane. Yeah.
RB.
Did you guys see Giannis Statue of Liberty dunk in the preseason a couple days ago?
I did last night.
Did you see his entire armpit was above the rim, boys?
Dude, he's gonna have to be the incredible Giannis that we saw when they won the chip because of that fucking coaching staff. He's gonna have to be downhill.
Oh shit! Do you guys remember last year before the season started when we put together our season-long entry, which we aren't going to do this year, and Giannis's over triple doubles was 4.5, and he had I don't even remember last year. I think he hit that before Christmas. He had 5 before Christmas. Yeah. I think he's going to do the same thing again this year. I think that he's even more comfortable as a facilitator now, as a player. He's got a jump shot now. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to what he's been doing in the offseason, but he can actually shoot a little bit more consistently from the floor. I think that Giannis, I agree with you, V. I think that Giannis has a chance to flirt with an MVP situation. And if he comes out and plays and the Bucks flirt with the Celtics to be the best team in the East, it's because Giannis is having an MVP type season.
Mm-hmm.
So you said everything I was going to say about it, so I'm happy. But I want to take you guys to the bottom of this division again.
Of course.
Come wallow in the trash with me. No, I'm not going to tell you guys to bet the Pistons. However, the players that I was kind of looking at, because again, I'm not going to. Giannis got touched on. I think Halliburton maybe comes back down to earth a tiny bit this year, but I wanted to focus on a couple of players that I thought are worth taking a stab at, especially as we start the season. Be paying attention to their props, pay attention to how they fit into these teams. I focused on three. Simone Fontecchio, who plays for the Pistons, was a really good target last year in the rebounding department and in the three-point department. How he's going to fit into this team, I feel like he's going to get a little bit more run on this team, and I think that he fit in nicely with Cade Cunningham. I really, really think that this could be Cade's season to be kind of that breakout superstar. We've seen flashes of it. He's kind of been inconsistent with health, and obviously the Pistons suck ass. But I don't know, man. I just think that this could be Cade's season, and I think that he's going to be very bettable throughout the year. And then last, now chat, keep your jokes to yourself. And regardless of how you feel about this guy, Josh Giddey is actually a very good basketball player in the NBA. And I think you've forgotten that based upon what has happened in his personal life. However, I think he's going to fit in nicely on this Bulls team. I think that he's going to be able to do some stuff, and I think that he's going to be very bettable throughout the season. So look out for those three guys on some bottom dwellers that could be that could surprise you a little bit.
Without getting too much into my guy, I do think that Lonzo Ball is going to have a good year for what he's coming back from, and going from the point of maybe possibly people talking about him not being able to walk again or run again and all this kind of stuff. He's going to be playing in two of the last Bulls 3 preseason games. I think he's going to be playing in day one of the year. And honestly, it excites me. I think he was, before he got hurt, a top 4 point guard in the league. And I'm not talking about just like in terms of like overall, but like if you're talking about just pure point guards, like if you're looking at what you think of when you talk prototypical point guard, it was Lonzo Ball, the things that he was doing, the way he was running his offense. And it was like seeing Jason Kidd out on the floor again. And I'm just so excited to see this guy play basketball. The fact that him and hopefully LaMelo will both be healthy and in the league this year really, really excites me for this season. And I do think that he's going to have one of those years where, like he said it himself on his podcast, he feels like he was the best point guard in the league before he got hurt. The Bulls were cruising. DeMar was playing well. Levine was playing well. And honestly, the Bulls looked like they were going to be a top 4 seed in the East at that time. So give me Lonzo. I'm big on him here. I'm very bullish on Lonzo. Get it?
Oh, well done. Well done.
Nice. Good job.
Well, not to take us back to the Pistons, but that's what I'm going to do. They fired Monty Williams, who was fucking playing Killian Hayes over Jaden Ivey of lottery pick. Baffles me why that decision was made. But now you bring
had to be.
Yeah, that's why you and then you know what they brought in?
You lose your job.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We just talked about the Cavs. They fired JB Bickerstaff because somebody had to go. Somebody had to pay the price for the lackluster season, the regression that happened. But he landed on his feet. Now he's with the Pistons. The Pistons bring him in for what reason? Because they saw what he did in that one season with Garland and Mitchell just going absolutely crazy. So what SPJ is saying, Cade Cunningham could most definitely take that step because JB Bickerstaff leans on his guards. But the other guy that I do really like to take another leap is Jalen Duren, who's entering his 3rd NBA season, has not turned 21 yet, boys. This man cannot drink, and he's played 2 years in the NBA. He can take the ball and put it on the deck. He's averaged over 2 assists per game last season, which is insane from the center position as a 19-year-old. Coming into this season, I expect him to be used how Jarrett Allen was used in the Cavs in that year that we talked about where he was so great. He averaged like almost 17 points a game, almost 70% from the field. But Jalen Duren isn't Jarrett Allen. He's a much better offensive player. That ball handling skill is going to catch a lot of people by surprise this season because I expect him to hone it and get better at it. If he adds a mid-range jumper, he could be borderline all-star. Jalen Duren is going to have a big season. I love what SPJ also brought up about Simon Fontecchio. It's very interesting when teams pivot and sign and acquire veterans when they're still bad. That means they think that all their young guys are about to take a step. So they're adding a veteran piece that kind of serve as a stabilizing force of everyday professional NBA player among these kids. So I'm very high on the Pistons. I'm high on Jalen. I love what SPJ said about Cade and Simone Fontecchio. So Central Division, a lot of guys that you can target early on.
So honestly, thank you for reminding me that they hired JB because I think he's a great coach. And the fact that he got fired this offseason, I don't think was reflective on him at all. I think it was just reflective on the fact that the Cavs are looking
Somebody
to
had
make
to
a
go.
change and
Yeah.
they didn't want to do it from with a player personnel perspective, but they needed a little bit of a change. They needed a little bit of new voice in the locker room, but it had nothing to do with JB because he got the best out of those guys night in and night out. And even Evan Mobley, we saw the steps that he took under the tutelage of JB Bickerstaff. So I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to this heavy guard lineup in the with the Pistons. And again, Jalen Duran. Sorry,
Do you boys want to do something nasty?
Every day of
I'm
my
not
life.
parlaying their win total
Ask
with
my
the
wife.
Nets.
Oh, well, we already talked about that. I mean, Pistons over, what is it? What was their win total? Go back to the other graphic.
25. Oh.
26 wins. I mean,
So doable. Even a shit team like the Nets, like I get why SPJ likes the 20. They had 32 last year.
they won
This is
32
the
games.
East. Yeah.
The fucking Hornets won 21 games last year and they were terrible.
Oh,
Like-
speaking of, can we move on? Or any more
Sure.
thoughts?
No, go ahead.
This division, boys. This
Ah.
division kind of reminds me of the Bucks division in the NFL. This is a division that kind of has mediocrity, but these teams do show out. They do make conference finals. They do make NBA finals in the Heat and the Hawks. And I know we all have a lot of thoughts on the Hornets. So if real quick, we can blast through this. Any thoughts on this graphic? Otherwise, we can go straight to the players.
I hate the value of plus 170, but I think this is the Heat's division. This is the year you have to perform in the regular season. Jimmy's in a contract year. He didn't get the contract he wants, but he wants to stay in Miami. It's very clear. He doesn't want to go anywhere else. He loves the fact that Florida's tax-free. He loves the life in Miami, and he honestly thinks he can win there, right? And I don't blame him. He's got a team that wants to win, a franchise that wants to win, and a coach that's like probably the best coach in the NBA currently right now. So I think the Heat at plus 170 with a healthy Jimmy, Bam's hitting the three. I love the Magic, but again, I'm not taking them at minus 145. I love them. I think they're going to perform so well. And I do think that Banchero is going to be in MIP conversations, but minus 145 is way too much.
Chat is
Give me the
not
Heat at plus
high on the
170.
Magic.
I love the Magic. I do, but I just think minus 145, I'm not taking it for that price.
Jesus?
I like the Magic, or I like the Heat too. I think I don't know. The Magic are such a hard team to cap, man. Like we talked about this a lot. They were great in the playoffs. Banchero, I think that you're right and right on the nose, V, with the Banchero take. We've talked about that quite a bit in the offseason. I think that Banchero could become that, like, he's already, I would consider, a superstar, but he could become like a bona fide superstar this year if he has another really big season. But to me, the Hawks, I think the Hawks deserve to be closer down to the bottom of this division with the Wizards, man. I hate this team. I don't like Trae Young. I don't think that they have any solid direction as a franchise right now. And I think that they're not going to be very good. I'm not going to take their under on wins because I don't want to sweat that out. But I just don't believe in this team. I think that this team is going to have a really poor season. And I don't think that they're going to flirt with taking over the Magic or the Heat. So
This is the correct answer. I am so sorry, but the Hawks are gonna be good, boys, because the first overall pick, everybody liked the Frenchman we got last year. We're about to get another tasty little baguette.
That pause.
I think I'll lead off here first because I think the Hawks win total at 35.5 is juicy. Trae Young, I know we all like to make fun of him, but he's an all-star. He's a guy who led this team to a conference finals. Richelieu was the first overall pick for a reason. He is 6'10", and he played absolutely amazing last night for the Hawks. 18 points. Dude was catching it in transition. Dude threw a couple nights ago. Dude threw a fucking pass between the legs in his first preseason game. I'm very high on this Hawks team. I think Jalen Johnson is going to be a wagon double-double all season. And I think Trae Young is going to bounce back. And they also have a few guys there that have been there as journeyman vets like DeAndre Hunter, who's a former fourth overall pick himself. There's a lot of talent on this squad. And I think the Hawks are going to prove to teams why they were in the conference finals a number of years ago. And I don't think that they're going to be like a top 4 seed, but that 35.5, that's speaking to me. that win the division for plus 800, maybe worth a quarter unit. It's worth a sprinkle. This team has talent. They have an engine. They have a good coach in Quinn Snyder. So the only player I'm going to be targeting early on is Zakari Richarier, and I hope he does not play much more preseason because the lines will get sharp on him if that's the case. But boys, kick it off. Who else do you guys like in this division?
Let me follow up right here with Econic's comment because I agree with him right here. I know that, Bam Adebayo still exists in this division. Jalen Johnson, there's a bunch of good names in this division. But Paolo has looked fantastic through his first 2 years. We saw the steps he took last year, elevating his scoring game, his ball handling, and the fact that he can just run this offense. He was rebounding at the same rate, and I do think that he's going to be a constant double threat nightly going into this next season. The Magic have held their own defensively over the last 2 years with Banchero. And I think that, in my opinion, at least when you're looking to build a team, the defense is the harder part to get right. Once you can get that, you wait for the players to develop and you wait for that part and the aspect of the game to develop. We saw it with guys like Jaylen Brown, who's been a defensive guy and he's been a great wing guard for a long time. But we saw what he did last year and the steps that he took to being a probable 25 points per game scorer. I do think that Banchero is going to take a similar step this year. He saw more usage last year, but he was more efficient. He saw more of the ball last year and he put up more points and more assists. The Magic were in the playoffs for the first time in 6 years. They had their best win total finish in the last 4 years, and I just think that it's going to be more of the same. Banchero is a superstar. He made his first All-Star game last year, and go read my piece on him on why I think he's going to be the most improved player this season. But I just love everything to do with him this season. I'll be betting him all year. And I do think that even the emergence of his three-point shot last year, we're going to see that take another step this year. And then once you have that as a big man and you can finish at the rim, put the ball on the ground, you're going to have an easy time scoring against some of these small ball defenses that the NBA has been playing a lot of.
Yeah. Should we talk about the Wizard? Actually, chat, I got to lob this up for SPJ. This dude on this list, Tristan Vukovic, I don't even know how to say his name.
Vucevic.
He played 10 games last year. Some of them were early on, but in April, out of nowhere, he was playing over 20 minutes a game. No one had any idea who he was. SPJ brought him out of nowhere, and he fucking was scoring 19 points in 20 minutes a night. So SPJ, talk to me why you love this guy on the Wizards again.
Okay,
shout out Cap for the sub.
Oh shit!
Yeah, let's just get one of these bad boys to get the Friday vibes going.
Okay, this needs to start the NBA. This needs to go. I don't know who. I need to.
Pulls off 3-pointer. It's good.
Let's go.
Wins the game at the buzzer.
Appreciate you, Cap. Thank you so much for the subby. Appreciate you. Okay. So, chat, again, I tried to bring players to this list. I didn't want to bring you guys, guys that I feel like are perennial superstars and things like that. I was trying to bring you guys that I either bet on last year who made me some money who you maybe not know, or guys that are going to have lines that are lower than you might think, or players that you're not going to be looking for. Tristan Vucevic is a prospect that the Wizards invested a lot in. Came in last season, got hurt and banged up through the end of the season, and then played at the end of the year. And I brought him up a lot last year. I watched way too many Wizards fucking basketball games because I had money on this guy. He's a 7-footer. Guy can fucking hoop. Jonas Valanciunas is going to be starting for this team because they brought Jonas Valanciunas into the lineup. But I really, really think that this guy has an opportunity to be a Porzingis-type player in the league. With his skill set, he can dribble, he can pass, he can shoot from distance. He's a really, really good player. He's going to be, if he gets run on this Wizards team, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for him to score. They like him a lot there, and I think they're going to try to continue to build him up. I really like Vucevic. And the other one is the other guy on this Wizards team. I know I'm bringing up two Wizards players, but I think that Corey Kispert's going to have an awesome season. Like I said, I watched a lot of Wizards game to finish off last year. Corey Kispert was playing the whole fucking game. He was playing 35 minutes a game, playing great basketball, scoring, playing great defense. I really think that Corey Kispert's going to have a great season. Not really a big household name. He's not going to wow you with a bunch of stats, but yeah, I think that his stats and things that are definitely worth looking at from a betting perspective this year. And I don't think it's going to help the Wizards be a potential winning team. However, I really feel like that he's going to be. You guys are going to look up and go, "Wow, Corey Kispert hit 6 3-pointers in that game. Holy shit!" Just be on the
100%.
lookout for Corey Kispert lines and Tristan Vucevic lines. I'm excited to. I know, Kat. I know, but look out, man! They make you some money too. Both of these guys made me so much money at the end of the basketball season last year, and I'm excited to bet on them to start the season this year.
I'm texting you, bud, telling you Golden State's gonna be trash this year. Trash. Just kidding.
Hi, Mush. Yeah, thank you for letting me talk about my 2 Wizards players that nobody's ever going to remember nor talk about again. But don't worry, chat. On All Sauce Team, I'm going to tell these boys to bet fucking Vucevic with me, and they'll remember. Maybe
It's going to be awesome when the first game of the season, his 3-point line is only 1 for some reason, and we're going to fucking bet it.
It's going to hit in the first quarter.
I'm so ready for day one. I'm not talking about the day one with the 2 games. I'm talking about day one when we get that full slate on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oof.
All right, that's all we had for the Eastern Conference preview, boys. But I thought we should cap it off with a question we had in chat from more than one person. Jordan Poole, since we were talking.
Whoa.
Okay.
Sook? All right.
Sook 10-4s. Oh, he's back.
Force?
Accidentally pressed back on my mouse. I deserve that because I was about to say
BC.
Jordan Poole bounce back season. So
I thought maybe SPJ kicked you out for a second. I was like, whoa.
God, no. You answered your own
literally
question.
this.
You answered your own question. No, I mean, I don't know. We're going to find out how this Wizard... I mean, the success of the Wizards franchise is because he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. So it's going to rely upon how he does in this team, him and Kyle Kuzma. But I don't know.
Obviously, everything we say on this show is like just us predicting stuff, and we're not sure how it's going to pan out. So, like, everything is just up in the air. But Poole is one of those guys where I need to see it first. I no conjecture, nothing at all. I'm not guessing, nothing. I need to see it. I just want to see it.
You're not betting Jordan Poole for 30 points.
Jordan Poole for 30 points.
That's so good.
All right. We hope you enjoyed this breakdown of the Eastern Conference. NBA is right around the corner, chat. Before we dive into the NFL, give a quick dub to producer Sook for creating the graphics for the Eastern Conference. Major dubs. But as you guys know, if you didn't remember, now you do remember. We're doing a giveaway today. We have a giveaway for you guys in honor of you guys being fellow incredible supporters of the program. We got really spicy new shit in our store. We're going to give away one of these bad boys to you guys in the chat just for hanging out with us to be a part of the All Sauce team. So, just for you guys for being here, drop a dub so that producer Sook knows when he needs to run the duckies. Run the duckies. Drop a dub in the chat. And then we're going to do a giveaway, and then we're going to talk about NFL Week 6. Oh, man.
Oh, thank
Sook,
God,
also,
everybody.
Chad, if you didn't know, which I know you probably all know now, Sook hates the Ducks. Big not fan of the Ducks.
I've been trying to find a fucking alternative, and I can't find one that we can like quickly do.
Wow, look at all those duckies.
The deck
We love
is
you,
so
chat.
fun.
All right, boys,
love
we
you,
ready?
chat.
Who
Let's
wants
do
to
it.
count
Run
down?
it. 3, 2, 1. Bang. All right, go, Duckies, go.
All right.
Rusty's
Duckies,
not
go.
winning.
Sorry,
yeah,
Rusty.
this is one of those things where you really just don't want to pull out first.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Oh, Mush just dropped out. Did you see that? His red duck just dipped.
He's going to win now.
Uh-oh.
Out of nowhere. Out of the back.
Now here comes the move. It's Ma.
Oh, is it Ma?
It's Ma.
Is it Ma? Is it Ma? Oh, I think it's Ma. Oh, no.
No.
No. J. Perk
J.
Wisco.
Oh.
Jay Perk, are you from Wisconsin?
J. Perk Wisco.
Are you a Packer fan, Jay Wisco?
Mage. J. Perk Wisco. 10-4s. Are you there,
Perk?
J. Perk? Are you perky?
Oh, I'm running it again.
Jay Perk, 10-4s? Come on.
J. Perk?
Can somebody tag him in chat?
My duck didn't have the
All right.
stamina.
Run it
All right,
again.
I'm running it.
All right.
We love you, Nanny.
Nanny, I'm sorry, but you are not in here, I don't think.
She's fresh off her mug. She's probably got tequila in it now. It's Friday.
Yep.
Oh, we
Friday.
do have
Oh,
J.
J.
Perk.
Perk! Okay.
Oh, okay, J.
All right,
Perk.
well,
there
I'm
we
gonna
go.
clear
no, well, oh, let it finish.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't want to
okay.
disappoint Jay Perk. Do you want to do two?
Yeah, go for it. Do another one. We'll do a giveaway. We'll do a mug this time. Run one more. Congrats, Jay Perk. You want a hat? Let's go.
Let Mush cook.
Blue balled. Rusty is.
We'll never know who won
way
that
too big
race.
of a lead.
Econics?
Oh.
Econics?
Uh-oh.
Who? I got the top of your screen.
Sorry.
Who's come out of the back?
Gremlin.
Gremlin. Super Gremlin.
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 Oh, let's go, Gremlin.
Where's Super Gremlin? Super Gremlin, you're in the chat.
He's
10
Yes,
points,
sir.
Gremlin. There he
Let's
is.
go.
Let's go.
It's a mug for Gremlin.
All right, congratulations, guys, for JP. Where JP? How did I win? Thanks, y'all, dude. You for being here, just for hanging out with us, man.
Hey,
Pays
Jay
to
Perk,
tune in.
you from Wisconsin? Are you a Packer fan?
That will not
Wait.
determine whether or not you win. By the way, that's just how it is.
No, it just adds to
You
it.
get one of these bad boys, J Perk, and then Super Gremlin. You will get a mug. Do we have a Saucy mug? Yeah, there you go. You'll get one of these bad boys. Appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. We're just Oprah around these parts nowadays, man. Just fucking Oprah. Bing bong. Major dubs. All right, let's talk about some football.
Oh,
Football. Let's talk about week six, which is upon us. Mug's really good for beer and tequila, chat. Just letting you know. Yeah. Good afternoon, Crutch. All right, let's dive in. Let me bring up my screen here.
fuck yeah.
Share what I got going.
Jay Perk.
How did you guess?
We're gonna go
that?
game by game with you guys.
Wisco at
and
the
kinda
end.
Give our
Sorry.
thoughts. No, you're good. Give our thoughts on game by game situation in the NFL. Drop what you guys have so far in the chat. Get involved with the conversation as we go and let you guys know what we're looking at for the NFL slate. I already have 7 bets locked in. What could go wrong?
Yeesh.
I love them all.
Yeah, I think I've got more than 7 for sure. So, yeah, I'm right there with you. Austin,
All right.
we can neither confirm nor deny that, yes, that should have been in your cup.
All right.
Football.
Bye-bye. All right, let's start off in London town on Sunday morning. Get your tea, and we're going to listen to the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Chicago Bears. The Jacksonville Jaguars, Chicago Bears in London on Sunday morning, nice and early. Don't forget, set your fantasy lineups before that game. Bears, 1-point favorites right now. The over-under set at 45. Boys, what's your thoughts on this game in London? The Jags, basically a home game for the Jags.
I've got a lot of thoughts on this one, man. Okay, obviously,
Yeah?
go peep the scribbles. Yeah, go peep the scribbles at bettingnews.com. It's not often that I like to bet on these London games, but this one seems like a lot of fun, man. 2 young QBs, Caleb Williams and this Bears team to London. I don't know, probably not for all the players for the first time, but Williams is a young QB. His favorite target, I shouldn't say favorite target, but Roma Dunze, also another rookie going to London. And the thing that's interesting to me is the Jaguars have back-to-back games in London. So this week they're taking on the Bears at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Next week they're taking on the Patriots at Wembley. So the Jaguars are going to be there for 2 weeks, and I really think it's going to be a little bit of a tough travel spot for them. We heard already reports of them getting out of Florida a little bit late just because of the weather and because of Hurricane Milton. Hopefully all my homies down in Florida are doing okay and recouping from all the damage that was caused during the hurricane. But obviously, it affected the Jaguars' travel plans, and they got there a little bit late. But not even just that. This Bears team is, I think, a lot better than people were expecting. After 2 weeks, they were 1-1, and everybody was pushing the panic button on Caleb Williams. Well, since then, he's thrown for 300 yards twice. He's had a multi-touchdown game twice, and he's thrown just 2 interceptions, and he's gone back-to-back games without one. I think he's gotten the turnovers under control. The offensive line is starting to figure themselves out as well. And now they're getting a Jaguars defense that is bottom 2 in the league. This team, the Jaguars, is giving it up They gave up. I can't. I don't have the numbers in front of me. But again, go peep the scribbles. They're giving it up against the pass. They've given up 10 passing touchdowns on the year, and I think that this week Caleb Williams comes and dices them up. I'm taking his over 1.5 passing touchdowns for plus 108. I think that this Bears team, yes, they have Roshan, yes, they have Swift, but both of these guys are guys that operate in the pass catching game, that operate out of the backfield. And even though this offensive line has kind of figured it out, I don't think that they figured it out all the way. The Jaguars just had 4 sacks of Joe Flacco and this Colts team last week, but Joe Flacco still threw for 369 yards and 3 touchdowns. Nice. Caleb Williams is finally developing a connection with his receivers. We saw all the DJ Moore talk. So I'm still getting the end zone in that game and help them win that game. I think DJ Moore is going to have a big game this week, but I'm really, really liking the over 1.5 passing touchdowns, especially at plus money, plus 108. I got one more TD score I'll just pitch to you guys before I let you guys talk about it. But Rome Odunze, plus 250. I know it sounds hectic at taking a touchdown score at plus 250, especially a rookie who's only got 1 career touchdown. But over the last 2 weeks, he's got 4 red zone targets. He's got 1 touchdown, and he's caught 3 of those balls. Odunze has become one of his favorite targets, and he's the only other receiver on this team with more than 10 targets outside of DJ Moore. I'm loving Odunze this week. I think he gets in the end zone against a bad Jaguars defense that gives up a lot of big plays. And I don't know if you guys remember, but Caleb Williams' first career passing touchdown didn't come to a week 3. That first career passing touchdown went to Rome Odunze. He didn't even get to keep the ball for his first career passing touchdown because obviously Odunze was going to keep that one. But it's going to be fun, I think, in London. I think the vibes are high in Chicago and they're starting to figure it out. Give me the 2 rookies to kind of go out across the pond and ball out.
Nice.
I have a play in this game too. It's a prop, and it's not available everywhere yet, and I don't really know why it's not available everywhere yet. But I'm taking a Jacksonville Jaguars running back, but I'm not taking Travis Etienne. Give me the tank. Taking Tank Bigsby. Oh, I spelled his name wrong. Tank Bigsby over 36.5 rushing yards, minus 115. This is a joke of a line, in my opinion. There's already been chatter within the Jacksonville Jaguars beat reporters and the writers in the locker room that Bigsby might be the number 1 back going forward because he's been more efficient. If you look at all the advanced analytics and all the data, he is far and away the best running back, not only on this roster, one of the best running backs from an EPA, yards per carry perspective, and a missed tackle rate. Top 5 in most of those statistical categories. He had 100 yards last week on a big carry near the end of that game against the Colts. 90 yards the week prior. His usage is up. I think that's going to continue. The Bears, yes, have a good defense, but they have been getting kind of gashed on the run. They're a middle of the pack in rushing yards allowed. This line is way too low. Give me 36.5 for Bigsby. I did ladder this to 100. It's plus 1,000 if you're feeling frisky. I just think that he's going to have a really nice game on the ground. I don't think that they're going to want Trevor Lawrence to be throwing the ball all over the shop against this pretty good Bears secondary in London. I just think they're going to want to ride the ball on the ground. I think Etienne's still going to get a lot of carries. I don't think that total changing of the guard is going to happen yet, but I really like this Bigsby line. I think that this line is going to move before kickoff on Sunday. So lock it in with me if you like it now.
I think guys like Bigsby, Roshan Johnson, and other guys like Sook's favorite, Bucky Irving, are the reason that running backs aren't getting paid what they're owed. Because you see guys that come in and you draft them in the 2nd or 3rd round because no one's taking them early, and they can come sit for a year behind your starter. And then next thing you know, you have this running back battle where honestly, from a team perspective, that's not such a bad thing.
Yeah.
In the league nowadays, unless you have a bell cow, before you give the league nowadays, unless you have a bell cow back, are doing 2 back systems, and that's working totally fine for most teams. So that's not a foreign concept, and I think unless you have a Derrick Henry or a Josh Jacobs or one of those big guys that can handle 20 plus carries a week, it's okay having a guy that can just take 15 and 15 and you're chilling. So
teams very much like to switch up the pace now and have a bruising back and another guy who's more elusive and kind of keep D-lines on their toes and work them down as they get into the red zone. And then we see those vultures come in for that 3rd down possession. It's just the NFL now.
I honestly think that has to do with numbers at the end of the season and contract negotiations, so they can say, hey, look, you didn't have that many touchdowns, right?
That's the tinfoil hat.
That's the tinfoil hat. But you telling me that the NFL isn't? They're worried about the bottom dollar. right? And running backs aren't getting paid, but you bring in these backups, you give them a few touchdowns, all of a sudden, like those 16, 17 rushing touchdowns your team scored that year, maybe 8 of them went to your starter. What are you really going to say? Like, hey, man, you're only in on there for 50% of the touchdowns. We need you here. We want you here, but we're not going to pay you that much. It's ridiculous. The NFL is ridiculous.
That'd be sneaky.
Yeah. It's not the NBA, so the NBA is good to its players.
But go ride Bigsby with me. Ladder it, boys. Ladder it to 100 with me, too. It's disgusting.
Bisbee.
Yeah, I'm in. I tailed that Lotto Chef put out, too.
Bisbee. Hey, I said Brain Thomas last week, and that was air. So,
Yeah.
you know.
I commented it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you had played in this game, too, you said?
One play.
I have not pressed the buttons on this yet because I'm a little scared it's gonna get hooked. But I went to it last week when it was at 4.5, and I thought it was gonna be free. It's at 5.5 now for plus money. He's very much building his rapport with his rookie QB. There's a reason why it's at 6 receptions, which is pretty high. He's had 8 this season before. I haven't pressed the button on this, so it's not an official POD of mine at all. But I wanted to get your boys' thoughts. Would you press the button on DJ for 6?
I don't hate it. As V said, this Jaguars defense is pretty bad. And if Caleb has finally figured out how to, I mean, last week we saw him kind of finally have that breakout week, especially with targeting DJ, realizing like, oh, I have this great wide receiver one that I should probably get the ball to. And I think that will probably continue this week. So I don't hate it for plus money. Is there a reason why you went to the receptions instead of the yards?
I just think he's only had 100-yard game with Caleb, and I just think he might try to get to his number one receiver. Whether that results in him getting that 67 yards or not, I don't know. So I'm the type of dude that I'd really like to play receptions over yardage usually.
Funny enough, sorry to finish.
No, go. No, I was just gonna say I played fucking Metcalf yards last Thursday and fucking sold me. So last night,
yesterday. Yeah,
Jesus
I was gonna say. You repressed that. You repressed that one. But I was gonna say, I'm honestly the opposite. Throws. So look, I'm the opposite. I do think that I'm a receiving yards guy, but I think that this spot is a receptions kind of spot just because of what we saw last week. We saw DJ Moore's frustration, and that's something that needs to be addressed. It's not something that's going to be addressed via trade or whatever it is. It's something that we saw Caleb Williams already trying to address on the sideline by talking to him one-on-one, having that relationship with your number one wide receiver and hearing him what he has to say, not only because he's your wide receiver one, but that's your vet, right? You were a rookie in this league, and that's your vet. This is the guy that carried this Bears team on his shoulders last year and this offense. That is your vet. That's the guy you're going to listen to. And I loved seeing that from him last week. And because of that, I think that both Caleb and the offensive coordinator are going to have to do a much better job of working DJ into the offense and working him the ball, whether that means screenplays, which he performed phenomenally on last year, short intermediate routes, or that huge deep ball. But over 5.5 for plus money, I think he's going to see 11 to 12 targets this week. And I could be over evaluating it, but let me just read you the stats. I have them pulled up from this Jaguars defense. They rank second last in touchdowns allowed, passing touchdowns allowed. They're giving up 287.8 yards per game, and they've given up, like I said, 10 touchdowns. Joe Flacco had 359 yards in his first start this year. So do with that information what you will. I do think that they come in this week. The Bears get the job done. This line is only sitting here because they're playing across the pond. Give me DJs over 5.5 Tusuk. I'm locking that in right now.
Okay, then I'll press that button too. Kadar,
Bang.
You're with us as well. SPJ, you taking it?
Sure. Already got 7 units out there. What's another one? Why not?
Wasn't it last week, Oracle, when he scored the touchdown late too then? I thought the frustration was last week.
No, 2 weeks ago is when he last week he got 2 touchdowns and was fucking balling.
100 yards and 2 TDs, baby. He went crazy.
Yeah, he was awesome. All right, should we keep moving?
Yeah.
Let's go. Game of the week, most likely. We'll see what happens. Commanders taking on the Ravens, the Battle of Maryland, as the Washington Commanders look to take on the Baltimore Ravens, AFC versus NFC matchup. 6.5-point favorites are the Ravens. The over-under set at 51.5. Boys, did you know that the two...
Sorry.
Go for it. Did you know that the two best statistical defenses? He could have just typed that out and left. But now, chat. Now you know that Vsauce is using the bathroom. Did you guys know that the Baltimore Ravens and the Washington Commanders possess the number 1 and the number 2 ranked offenses in the NFL right now? Did you also know that the Baltimore Ravens are allowing the most passing yards in the NFL and the Commanders are allowing the most rushing yards in the NFL? I don't hate it, Crutch.
That's a high total.
It is. Fading it is probably the move. There is a lot of things that you could take in this game, whether it be a prop, whether it be a side, whether it be a total. I have a side that I'd like to talk about with you, Sook, and then I have a prop that I would like to talk to you about. I don't know if you have prep plays in this game too, but I have 3 plays in this game. I'm hoping for a good one. I got this earlier this week, bought a point or half a point. I took the Commanders +7. I know it's in Baltimore, and I know that the Ravens are scary, but their defense is not very good. Their passing defense is really bad, and Jaden Daniels has looked legit. And so I'm taking the Commanders with the points. Maybe it's a trap. This line feels a little funky, but I really think that the Commanders can cover here. Thanks, Oracle. Appreciate you. I think the Commanders can cover. I did buy the hook. I don't want to get hooked. I'd rather go for the 7 and get my bet back instead if they lose by a touchdown. I think the Commanders could win this game outright. We've talked about this team almost every single week. Last week they were a free bet to win, then cover. Week before that they were underdogs. They won outright that week too. They've been a great team. I don't think that comes down to earth, but maybe it is this week. I don't know. What are your thoughts about this line? What do you think?
I love that. I love that play a lot. I think the +7, like, this might be the week where it absolutely is solidified that the Commanders' preseason hype was not misplaced. You bring in the new coach, you bring in the young guy. They're kind of wheeling and dealing. The Ravens are playing well as well, but +7, we could see a good football game here. And this could be a 2 field goal game, and then you're cashed out. I like it. At +7, I don't have. Is Eckler playing in this game?
Yep, Eckler's back. Eckler was back last week.
Okay.
So this line came out, and I felt like, Commanders, wow, been so great. And the Ravens obviously won, but they're still 3-2. This came out as it was about 7 when it dropped, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 6.5 now. And I think that people probably were scrambling to bet the Commanders, right? Which is like kind of what you would feel like that would be the trap in this situation. But then I was thinking about it more, and what we've seen so far this season, chat, and I know you guys have been following this, how many 5.5 or more point underdogs have either covered or won outright? I don't have the numbers in front of me, but you guys know it's a fuck ton. It's a lot.
I think it's like 8 or 9, and I think it's like 8 or 9 and 2 or something like ridiculous.
This might be 5.5 by Sunday, SPG. Is that a possibility?
No. I don't think so. I think it will stay 6.5, maybe 6. But I feel like that you gotta. So you would think like, oh, they're giving this big number. Everybody's thinking, oh, well, I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take the other way and take the Ravens. But I don't know, man. I believe in this Commanders team. I've watched them quite a few times now. I think Jaden Daniels is legit, and I think that this is going to be a battle. And I want to take the team on the road with the points and hope that I get maybe they win outright. See what happens.
Interesting. Have you tapped the money line at all?
No.
Mm-mm.
Well, I have 3 units in this game. I have 2 props and I have this side, so I don't want to overexpose myself. But I
honestly agree with you, SPJ. And from what I was seeing this week is that the Commanders are a little bit of a public dog, but at 6.5 points, maybe they don't win. It's a lot of points to cover. We know the Ravens excel when they are underdogs and when everybody counts them out. But this is a situation, this is a game they very much should win, right? 100%. They're at home, at Baltimore, against a Commanders team that, yes, has been very good, and they look fantastic with Jaden Daniels. He's overperforming. But at the end of the day, this Commanders team is vastly overperforming expectations, both offensively and defensively, I would argue. Everybody wants to talk about how good this offense has been, but their defense has been just as good, I would say. Does it last, though? Why is this line 6.5? I also think so, and I'm with SPJ, and I'm taking the +6.5. But I'm just saying that, like, why is this line where it's at? we're book seeing that we're not seeing. It's going to be an interesting one, especially because I'm looking at this game like Jaden Daniels comes out and balls over Lamar. That's the kind of thing that's the person that everybody compared you to coming out of college. Whether that is a true comparison or not, I'm not here to say because I didn't watch either one of those guys play in college. But how sweet would it be if you came in and beat him on his home turf?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Compare me to that guy? Fuck that.
yeah.
Right?
Didn't even think about
so V, if you're gonna take it, I bought a half a yard. I bought a half a point and took the 7 with the.
You're always
to
in
cut the
prop
hook.
mode.
I'm always right here. Yeah. I bought the half a point. Take the 7 if you can. I paid a little juice, minus 120, but Speaking of props, my favorite play in this game. I did like the side, so I just wanted to throw that out there first. My favorite play in this game, though, Scary Terry. Over 60.5 receiving yards. As I mentioned, the Baltimore Ravens are allowing the most passing yards in the NFL. They were already allowing the most passing yards going into last week, and they got absolutely bent over by Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase last week. Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin. I know. Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin, however, may not be Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, but chat, they're scoring the most points in the NFL right now. And Scary Terry had over 100 yards last week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not overthinking this. Give me the best wide receiver 1 on the best scoring offense in the NFL. Whether that leads to points, I don't know. He's going to be plenty involved. He's the most targets on this team, the most receptions, and the most yards. Love this line. I've loved Scary Terry since last year. We've talked about him a lot. I think he's going to have plenty of opportunities to have 60-plus yards. I also laddered him to 100, and I did take his touchdown as well. So, Scary Terry.
I'm a huge fan of this
season.
play. I'm a huge fan. I'll be tuning into this game despite only having maybe 2 bets on this one.
I think it's just one of those games where the points is very scary, like Crutch mentioned, of taking the under. Like, I feel like that 51.5 in today's NFL is a fuck ton of points.
Mm-hmm. I love this one, too, from Austin.
Yeah. That's been take his rushing and receiving. Fucking free cheese, dude.
Even
Free
check
cheese.
out Scary Terry's receptions. I think it's at 4.5. He's got a huge target share the last 2 weeks. I think 18 targets, but he hasn't had a game yet. He had one game where he had 7 receptions. So I think they're just building their rapport. I think they're just gonna get better. I'm on the Commanders bandwagon pretty much. I feel like
because we've talked about this team now for 4 weeks straight. I feel like we talked about them
Every
initially with Degen on the show, and then that was the week they beat the Bengals, and then we talked about it the week after that when they
played the
Cardinals,
Bucks week 1. We talked about a shitload week 1 because we were talking about the
week 1.
Bucks angle.
Yep. And who did they play last week? Who did they beat last week?
The Browns.
The Browns. So
yeah.
We talked about him on Sauce, or not on Sauce Team, but on Gridiron, and V took them. I should have taken them. I beat the fucking Cardinals when they were underdogs, and they beat the brakes off of them. Last week against the Browns sucked, but they dismantled the Browns too. I think this team's real, man. Like, they've had plenty of tests so far to start the season. This is another one, and I think Rusty's point is very true. Like, I think that this line is kind of trying to get you to bait you to take the Ravens, and I just think that's going to stay close.
Sorry, like we were talking about last week, we were saying, like, yo, if the Commanders are a fake team, they'll lose to the Browns at home. They'll fuck up and they'll win. They'll lose a game that they're supposed to win if they're good. What do? They went and they showed the fuck out. So
And they covered.
Yeah.
Yep.
Last play, and then we'll move on from this game. Unless you have you have a play too?
No, I just about the song with the Ravens and the Commanders. You know that Ravens money line is going to be a popular play in parlays everywhere. And whenever that happens, it usually means that leg is going to be a sweat. So taking the opposite team on the points is usually a good bet, in my opinion, at least.
Last play to mention on this, because I have to. What the one thing that this Commanders defense does not do well statistically. Again, you got the Ravens, worst pass defense in the NFL. The Commanders, worst rushing defense in the NFL. Well, guess who they get to fucking stop on the ground this week? I mean, like, do I even need to sell you guys on taking this? It's one of the most bet player props of the entire slate. So take that with a grain of salt. We saw what happened with that with Jordan Mason yesterday. So I don't know if you don't want to ride this for that reason, but I could see him getting 100 in a tutty against this pretty bad rushing defense. So just saying. Any thoughts, or you guys want to move on?
I'll tail that. I'll take that bet.
Yeah. You don't have to talk to me about Derrick Henry. I always take that bet. The Titans is where you got to see me in my office.
My favorite, one of my favorite things in the NFL is when Derrick Henry is getting out ahead of the defense, and you can see the body language of the defenders that are trying to catch up to him as they slowly realize they are not touching the king.
And yeah. How do you dude? It's gotta feel some type of way to watch a dude that's 6'4", SPJ?
6'3", 6'3".
6'3", 250 pounds, running down the field. That I don't know. His weight could be way wrong. I have no concept of that at all. But this giant tank-looking dude running down the field, and you think, hey, I can catch up to this guy. No, you can't. You can't do it. It doesn't make sense. He defies physics.
He does.
I was texting SPJ about this. He's the perfect union of genetics and fucking work ethic. Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday, Ma. Let's go. Appreciate you for everything you bring to the channel. Happy birthday. Another fellow Libra. See, I knew you liked you, Ma. I knew I liked you. Yeah, I feel bad taking it every fucking week, but he's cashed me out 3 weeks in a row. Let's make it 4, right? Why not?
Mm-hmm.
All right, V, I'll let you lead us off on this one. I need to go use the facility since we're announcing it to the chat now. So I'll let you take us. I'll let you take us over and talk about your team right now.
I only announced it because of the way you left so abruptly. I want to make sure no one thought I just disappeared. You know what I mean?
All right, V, get on your fucking soapbox, talk your fucking shit. Let's go.
Let's talk about the Packers and why it is once again pack season. It is pack season, boys and girls. I wrote about this piece. I'm going to sound like a broke, but it's Josh Jacobs. It's Josh Jacobs once again. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. His line has been bumped to 66.5, but this Arizona Cardinals defense is horrendous against the run. Jacobs cleared this line with ease last week against the Rams, and this week he gets another NFC West member, and they've just been giving it up against the run. Arizona is ranked near the bottom in rush yards allowed to running backs. They're giving up 122.4 yards per game to opposing running backs, giving up 147.8 rush yards per game in general. A lot of their games are playing from behind. I know they just came off a big win last week in Arizona against the Niners, but the problem with this is that was a divisional matchup. These divisional games are completely different. I don't know what it is in the NFL, but when you play a divisional matchup twice a year, you bring something else to the table, and that's what happens in these matchups. The Cardinals have 2 wins this year, both against divisional opponents. It's not a surprise. They reamed out the Rams, and then they came back from a 23-10 deficit at halftime last week against the Niners, held them to 0 points in the second half, had 3 turnovers of the Niners last week, and you're telling me that that's going to maintain this week against the Packers? They're on the road. Both of their wins have come in domes, and this week they're traveling to Lambeau, where guess what? It ain't going to be hot anymore. We're going to get some nice fall chill in the air. It's going to be a nice chilly afternoon in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Take Josh Jacobs as they play some smash mouth football in Green Bay. Over 66.5. I also did sprinkle the 2+ touchdowns for plus 350 because you know what? We're getting saucy today. We're getting saucy on Sunday. I got one more play in this. It's not as pretty. It's not as fun. But it's the under 47. It's the right play. When the Packers win games this year, they're holding their opponents to under 20 points. The Cardinals' offense has looked abysmal. Yes, I know they've won 2 games, but Kyler Murray is averaging less than 200 yards per game. He's thrown 7 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, but 3 of those touchdowns came, I think, last week. His numbers are a little against that game against the Rams. His numbers are a little bit overinflated. And after that one game we saw from Marvin Harrison Jr., we're not seeing him get the target share that this guy really kind of deserves. Now he's matched up with Xavier McKinney, the guy who's leading the NFL in interceptions. He's got 5 interceptions in 5 games. Jair Alexander should be back on the field this week. And this Packers defense that has just been they've been like standing the test of time outside of that atrocious first half against the Vikings and a big play they gave up to the Eagles in week 1. They've held their own, and I do think that they're going to do the same this week against the Cardinals. So give me the under 47 and give me Jacobs over 66.5 rush yards. And sprinkle the 2 touchdowns, but if it doesn't hit, do not DM me. All right.
I love this. I actually have his 100 plus in a lotto that I sent you guys, and for everything that you said, the Cardinals suck at stopping the run. I think he should have a great game on the ground. I also saw a thing that was talking about how the Packers, like, even though Jordan Love is a way better quarterback than Malik Willis, they were actually playing better all around football when Malik Willis was the quarterback because they were prioritizing running the football and like feeding their offense through Josh Jacobs. And I wonder if they are kind of like especially this week in a matchup where they should dominate on the ground, if they like lean that direction at home, So maybe that's something that they come out and do.
I do think that they will, because from what I've seen watching Matt LaFleur over the last couple of years, and I would just like to highlight this a little bit. I don't want to sit here and glaze my coach or the Packers, but the thing is
Yes,
we are seeing Aaron Rodgers and how he's struggling this year. LaFleur's offense has allowed these QBs to thrive. He won 2 games with Malik Willis. He took Malik Willis back to Tennessee and helped that dude get redemption against his old team. Not only did he win the game, but he threw multiple touchdowns and he had over 200 yards passing. I do think that LaFleur knows what the fuck he's doing. There's a reason Jordan Love just got the fattest contract in NFL history while Dak Prescott was fighting for crumbs in Dallas, right? There's a reason, and that guy is Matt LaFleur. He has been fantastic for this team, and he needs the run to work in order to open up that pass game. That's what I've seen. He's a big play action guy. He loves running things out of the gun. Play action out of the gun, and he loves running things out of I formation as well, and single back type of formations. I think we're going to see a lot more of that today, just because the Packers, hopefully this week, are playing with a little bit of security. Last week, they entered the half down. The week before that against the Vikings, they were down 28-7, right? So they were kind of forced to pass in both of those games. I really think that this week, if they can just do what they're supposed to do, especially defensively in that first half, that they should be in a good position to run out the clock and hopefully keep this Cardinals offense kind of stifled. Love it, Wisco. I actually love that.
Sook, do you have any other thoughts on this game? I think V covered everything. I don't have anything
I
else
had
to
no
add.
thoughts on this game. The one thing I wanted to play was Kyler Murray's passing yards. So I haven't played it yet. V, it's only 215. He has not hit that line a lot this season. I think just once, close twice. I just wanted to ask you, why is that line continuously be low for Kyler?
Just because what we've seen this year is he's not making the big throws. He's not making the deep plays. Yes, he makes some highlight level plays and he hasn't turned the ball over, but he's still averaging, I think, under 197 yards per game.
Yeah.
He's not moving the ball that way. He's also doing a lot with his legs. I think that the line this high makes me think that the books also think that Cardinals are going to have to pass the ball quite a bit this week. That's why the line's sitting there. But outside of that,
it's much higher than his average.
Much higher than his average. It's much higher. Like you said, he's only hit it once this season. And now you're getting one of the best secondaries in the league, despite the fact that they have allowed a lot of pass yards. I just think that they know the Cardinals are going to have to pass the ball, and Green Bay is not going to be able to, kind of keep them to no yards.
So it's a trap. It's a trap?
It sounds like a trap to me.
Okay.
But
that's all I wanted to ask.
My eyes.
SPJ, do you have any thoughts on it?
No. I'm ready to. I'm down. Oh, to Murray. Sorry, I thought you were asking
Kyler.
about the game specifically.
No, Kyler.
Maybe look at his rushing yards instead of his passing.
Did COD come out this weekend? Didn't it? Or no? Is that next week?
He became a fucking sponsor or an ambassador.
And they're trolling the things in his contract, and they're trolling the whole narrative about it. And I just don't think that's a good move. I don't think it's as good of a move as he thinks it is.
All right.
Especially if you play bad. Isaiah.
Let's go, Isaiah. Chat, drop a dub if you guys are enjoying the show, man. I know we're going long today, but we're going through week 6 in the NFL. Hope you guys are enjoying the show, and we're helping you guys dive into the numbers. And you guys are having a great start to your Friday. I can't imagine a better place.
Sorry, go finish.
No, I can't imagine a better place that you'd want to spend your Friday to get the vibes moving. I don't know.
Absolutely not. And I also think that this is the kind of stuff that helps all of our bankrolls come Sunday.
Yeah. It's also nice because Kanika doesn't have to ask Sook where he is. She can just, see us in here, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, my always out of the house.
Yeah, come on. My favorite thing is when chat brings us little tasty tidbits, like the one that's going to be in this. Are we doing Texans or are we
Let's
doing
go to the
Bucks?
Saints game first and talk
Let's-
about this guy that you and
was-
Ma seem to be in love with.
I was gonna ask, should we just skip this Texans Patriots game? I know that there's probably some nice props. We are gonna talk about it more on Sunday, but I feel like for now maybe we skip it. I don't have any thoughts on it.
I just want to say I hope Drake May stuns everybody and Texans lose for my survivor pool. That's all.
I would love the Texans to lose as a Titans fan. That would be sick. I mean, no Nico Collins out on the IR for 4 weeks, so that's a big deal for this team. We're going to see what happens, and Drake May is obviously getting his start, so there you go. All right.
Fuck
So,
yeah, Isaiah, we love to hear it, buddy. Hockey is so back.
Let's go.
dude, he sent me he's tagged me in on Twitter in a slip that was like one of the long babies, and it smacked, and those are the ones that you love to see. You know?
Bro, Gerald sent us like 7 slips of green slips after the first 2 days of hockey. And I was like, all right, buddy, this is when I'm going to start bitching about you not sending us slips before they cash. All right. I only allow so many.
Early
The
on
funny
in my
thing is-
gambling journey, I never understood why sending green slips without sending them beforehand was like bad etiquette. But now that I'm fully a filth degenerate like the rest of you, I will see a green slip and I'll be like, why? Why even send this to me? It's like a taunt.
Yeah. Gerald used to get so mad at Sook. So mad.
It's yeah. Now you understand, Sook. Welcome to the dark side. All right, let's go to this, Sook, and I'll let you kind of lean into this one a little more. The Bucks, Saints, huge divisional matchup for both of these teams. The Buccaneers are 3.5-point favorites on the road. Spencer Rattler getting the start for a banged up Derek Carr for the Saints. Over under set at 41.5.
You boys are going to have to stop me, pump my brakes as I talk about this game because there is so much to talk about in this game, whether it be on the Bucs side or the Saints side. You have Derek Carr going down for multiple weeks, a 5th-round pick coming in and starting, and very much has his team kind of rallying around him. Everything you're hearing out of the Saints camp is that this guy is a dude that has a little bit of riz, and he likes to play with confidence. So it's really interesting to see. On the Bucs side of the ball, they've been dealing with the hurricane. It's been interesting to see that the Bucs had to actually charter 2 private planes and ship off over 300 employees and family and friends of the teammates and personnel. So the Bucs are dealing with this, but they've dealt with it before. In 2022, they had to deal with this, and they had to deal with it in 2017. So it's not a foreign thing to them. Coach Todd Bowles has talked about how 2022 in Miami really prepared them for what's going on this year. The Bucs schedule going into the next 4 or 5 weeks of the season is divisional heavy, is top good teams heavy. It's going to be very fucking hard for this Bucs team. They caught an L that they shouldn't have recently. So I think this is a must-win game, and they're going to win this game. But last time I said that, they lost, and they lost in overtime to another divisional opponent, the Falcons. And Mike Evans has talked about this, that they very much thought that the game was in hand. They had the lead in the 4th quarter, and they dropped it in OT. So the Bucs are going to be hurting. They're going to lick their wounds a little bit. I do have one play in this game already, and it's going to be Mike Evans over 58.5 receiving yards. He needs to get that 60 every week to get to that 1,000-yard milestone that he's looking for to become that elite Jerry Rice level receiver. So I really like Mike in this game, because if that is at 58.5, and like Austin said, Baker 1.5, if they're going to keep putting it there, guys like me and Austin are going to keep taking it. So there's a lot of narratives in this game, and there's a lot of interesting insights that one could take. But I don't see New Orleans winning. If Derek Carr was under center, sure. But with everything that's going on, the Bucs are going to try to get their lick back, and they're also getting Khalil Kancey back. I don't know if that's if Antoine Winfield Jr. is officially back yet, but he's been listed as doubtful. So the Bucs are very injured, but they're getting some of their key guys back.
We just got a text from Betsky because we're doing our staff article for Week 6 in the NFL. We've been doing them every single week. Hope you guys have been enjoying them too. Kind of all of us putting all of our thoughts into one article. And Betsky just informed us that he might be on Mr. Mayfield over 1.5 passing touchdowns. So just saying that.
Betsky played a couple times this season.
Yeah. I think he did it too. He did it when we were in Chicago. It was his play in Chicago.
Yeah, week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just say, welcome to Mike Evans, Marshawn Lattimore fight week, right? Can we get Trizzy Betts on here to give us some
on the
Who's
Run
getting
Report
knockout
tomorrow.
props?
Who's getting
right?
wrestle fucked?
Over under 2.5, over under halftime.
Who's going to bring their best BJJ into this situation?
But
Lattimore,
real quick before you go, that Lattimore is the reason why I'm not touching the receptions for Mike this week. We talked about it like this today. I'm a big receptions guy over the yards, but Lattimore is the reason why I'm going just with the yards. Baker knows what his boy needs.
Oh yeah, I love this, and I love what you're saying. My play is on the other side of the ball, and honestly, it's very narrative driven. Very, very narrative driven. Derek Carr's sitting out this week. Spencer Rattler's been doing interviews and post practice press conferences, whatever those are called. And what's one thing he keeps saying is that Chris Olave is wide receiver 1, and he should be treated like it. That he should get the target share he deserves, and he knows that when he's in the game, his job is to get Chris Olave the ball. So, based on his words, I am going to bet this. It's not his yards. It's not his receptions. I don't care about a target share. I want him to find the end zone. We're taking plus 179 to get into the end zone. I'm loving the value that we're getting here. It's better than any other book I've seen. It's floating around plus 160, 165 on other books. But that's why you go to our friends over at BetOnline. Shout out BetOnline, plus 179. I've got 2 more touchdown props that I've written about all 3 of them. Make sure you guys go peep those scribbles. But plus 179 for Olave, I got to take it after what Spencer Rattler said. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But at plus 180, I won't be mad about it. I found that betting these kinds of touchdowns, betting guys that nobody wants to take, betting them in the growth spots, that's when you want to do it. And shout out my boy Trizzy Betts for teaching me that touchdowns are sharp too. They might be the sharpest bet in the game right now because of how highly they're bet. But touchdowns are sharp, and the sharper you get when betting them, the more fun you're going to have. There's no fun in sweating out a Jordan Mason touchdown at minus 165 or Kenneth Walker at minus 145. Yeah, they'll probably get it. They probably will. But CMC has kind of ruined the running back touchdown prop. Derrick Henry is minus 250 to get in the end zone this week. Right? Yeah. So just not going to touch it. That's also why I didn't take Jacobs' touchdown because it's sitting at minus 145. I ain't kind of trying to sweat those kind of TDs. So give me Olave. Give me Spencer Rattler to not be a liar. That's what I'm betting on.
Well, I have a question, actually. SPJ, can you look into Tipton? This is the guy that Ma is talking about, wide receiver 3 on the Saints out of Yale. He's a rookie, but he's an older rookie at 24 years old. Smaller kind of guy. Kind of reminds me of a Chris Godwin-esque kind of player. I think his yards, Ma said, is 7.5. You could get that in one catch. What's his TD?
They don't have his yards on BetOnline, but they might have it closer to the game because they don't have as many lines right now. But let me check the touchdowns. Maybe he's listed under touchdowns.
Olave bounce back.
Mason Tipton for a touchdown plus 800.
There you go. Wow. Sneaky. It's like Iosiva on the Bengals. These Ivy League kids. They come in a little older. Iosivas, yeah.
Iosiva. Yeah. This game, I hate spots like this.
If Derek Carr was playing, I would think the Bucs would lose, to be honest. We haven't looked that great.
It's the problem in these situations is we don't know anything about what Spencer Rattler's going to do. And the problem with that is that the Bucs don't have any tape to watch of this guy. All they have is some preseason action to kind of take out. So and as you guys in the chat know, in the NFL is all about preparation. It's all about scheme, and it's all about preparing for the players that you're going to see on the field. They don't have anything to prepare for. They have no tape. They have no nothing. That's always really scary to take the team that's going against them. Could Spencer Rattler come out and shit the bed? Sure. Could he go out there and actually be good, and then the defense looks like they got their thumbs up their asses because they've never seen any tape on this guy? Yeah, it happens all the time. So I don't know. I'm a little sketched out by this line, by this game. I like some of the props that you guys mentioned. I think if I had to take a direction, I would definitely take the Bucs to win and to cover because they're the better team in my opinion. But these situations are always very funky to me.
2 rookie QBs making their NFL debuts, right? Drake May and Spencer Rattler. So I'm sure we'll be in store for some crazy stuff.
I'm just Googling it right now, and just like V always says, take this as you will and do with it what you want to. Fucking Spencer Rattler was 5-7 in college last year.
He also played for Cincinnati, though, I'm pretty sure. Like a really bad
I played for the Gamecocks.
Oh, South Carolina. Yeah, even worse team.
Go Cox, go. All right. Enough on that game. I do lean with you on the Bucks though, Chuck. I'll give you that.
It has to be. Otherwise, they're fucked. Their schedule going forward is a fucking gauntlet. They can't catch another L.
Just real quick.
Jeez.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Shall we skip this Eagles Browns game? I ain't got no thoughts.
I
Yeah,
got
You guys got thoughts?
I would love to see the Eagles lost just because of how much chouse it would cause. And I said chouse, not chaos.
Do you know how nasty and gross I feel wanting to take the Browns plus 9.5?
I mean,
but Deshaun Watson has been just fucking terrible.
we got our resident Eagles fan saying skip it. We got
Skip it.
permission, boys.
I can say this: if the Eagles do not win this game heavily, if they don't win this game by 2 touchdowns, if they don't win this game and cover, thank you.
Looks like
What is Goa?
Goa is
a place in India.
It's like a vacation spot where people. It's like Ibiza.
Yeah.
It's like that.
It's a visa for
It's
India.
a big place. Yeah, it's dope.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks. I think it's a compliment. I'll take it.
It's a compliment.
All right, let's go to this game. Titans Colts, AFC South matchup. The Titans are 2.5-point favorites. The over/under set at 43. Titans are minus 145 on the money line. Now, Shaggy and Colby this morning said they were tired of hearing me talk about the Titans. So, chat, you're welcome. I will not
So he
talk
came
about
to
the
our
Titans
group
anymore.
chat to tell us to bet the Titans.
Yep.
Talk to us about the
I
Titans.
told you guys, but I'm not going to tell chat what to do. I'm not going to comment on this game. What do you guys have to say about this game?
This is on par with the Eagles Browns game to me. I want my brain says bet the Titans, but
Rogue.
I don't know. My heart says bet the Colts. So I'm torn and I don't my job, but I'm just kidding. I have no read. I truly have no read. This
is a weird game, weird teams.
It's a weird game. Divisional matchup. Anything could happen.
Colts +2, easy peasy. Okay, weird.
All right,
weird.
on a scuba trip. SPJ, I think the people need to hear your thoughts on it.
We need your
Kobe
thoughts.
And SPJ. Screw Kobe and Shaggy.
I took the Titans minus 110 earlier this week. The Titans were plus 1.5 when this line dropped, and then the Anthony Richard and then the Jonathan Taylor news came out. Apparently, Michael Pittman is
out.
Was gonna not play, and now he might play. But looking at this matchup, man, this Colts defense is terrible, awful. Their corners are bad. They're missing Kwity Paye. They're missing DeForest Buckner. They might miss Kenny Moore. Their defense is just probably. Their defense
the Steelers scored 24.
Yeah, and
that's a lot
also,
for them.
And we saw what the Jags did to them last week too. I mean, again, this defense is bad. So on paper, the Titans should come out and score some points. And the Titans also have a good defense, but who knows? So I took the Titans money line and I got it. I texted you guys and told you to bet it 2 days ago because it was moving at that point. It was plus 1.5. I took it at minus 110. Now it's minus 145. Now I don't want anything to do with this game. I don't like this line anymore. This game screams the Titans winning some shit on some crazy play at the end by a point and and the Colts covering, or the Titans just losing outright and you guys hear me cry on Sunday. So
or they just draw.
I think, or they just tie.
Weird ass.
However,
missing.
I do have a player prop in this game that I do like a lot, and it's Tony Pollard. I've been riding the Tony Pollard wagon since the beginning of the season, and guess what, chat? And guess what, boys? He's been cashing me out, so I'm going to go right back to him. I got over 60.5 rushing yards. This line is up to 66.5. The Colts are the third worst rushing defense in the NFL, and I don't think that that's going to stop this week. Tony Pollard sneakily has been really good for the Titans. Had 80 rushing yards last week. He's cashed out on this line in 4 or 5 games this season. I love this play. This is my favorite of all the plays in this game. So give me Tony Pollard. That's all I'm going to talk about this game anymore. So that's
oh my god.
Fact. There you go. He gets it. He understands.
63. Trey.
All right. Now, boys, I have to go in like 2 minutes. I didn't expect us to go to this long because I have dinner with my mom tonight for my birthday. Even though my birthday was 5 days ago, but it was supposed to be my birthday dinner tonight, and I have to leave shortly. So we are going to talk. We can talk about one more game, and then we can get out of here. Do you guys have one more that you want to talk about, or do you guys want to keep the show going, and I'll just leave and let you guys continue?
Why don't we talk about this Lions-Cowboys game? Because I think this is going to be one people are going to want to bet on and talk about, and then we can get into the rest of the slate on Sunday.
I love that. I love that.
Keep the show going. Fuck.
We'll be back on Sunday for sure. I think I know
We'll
who
be back
this is,
Sunday.
dude.
Going all. Is this one of your homies?
I think so.
Love it.
Love the energy.
Yeah, appreciate you, boys.
Okay. Cowboys, Lions, and then we'll get out of here.
Oh man.
Cowboys are 3-point underdogs at home in Jerry's World against the Lions. Over under set at 53.
Man,
What do you guys think?
I'll go first.
Go ahead, Sook.
Lions, they're coming off a bye week. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? There's a dude named Aiden Hutchinson that has been making the NFL hell. He has been coming over the top, going under, spin move. He's just been sacking quarterbacks left and right. I think he's going to have another big game. The Lions are a good team. I'll take the Lions -3. I'll take the Lions -170 on the money line. I think the Lions win this game. I think the Cowboys, they have absolutely no run game. CeeDee Lamb is frustrated, going over to the sideline, yelling mediocre at Dak. So give me the Lions all day. The boys in Honolulu Blue, for reasons like Aiden Hutchinson, just making it fucking hell for the Cowboys.
I kind of agree with what you're saying, Sook, but honestly, I'm in the same spot that I was last year. I've got another piece coming out later tonight. It'll be my dogs of the week. So these are dogs that I'm betting this week and things that I think have value. I'll be betting them all on the spread, but I'm also taking the money line. The first one I'm going to talk about here is the Cowboys. The Cowboys cashed me out last week. They were one of the only dogs that I took that actually finished the job. The Bengals were at the table. A bunch of other teams were as well. But the Cowboys got the job done. It was an ugly one against the Steelers, and I think they took some help from the Stripes to get them there and across the finish line. But the thing is, the Cowboys went back to Dallas. We've talked about them and what they look like at Jerry's World. And the Lions front seven has been fantastic. They've been stopping the run. They've been holding opposing running backs to a really bad game, and they've been beaten up on other teams. I don't know if you guys have seen that trend going around right now about teams that play the Lions always losing outright the following week. The Dan Campbell effect is strong. I mean, he's like, you might win the game, you might not, but you're going to get beat up before you leave. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You're muted, SBJ.
You're going to bite your kneecaps.
Exactly. We're going to bite your kneecaps. There you go. But I just think that, the front seven is good, but that's not what Dallas is good at anyways. Zeke is not doing any damage. Dowdle ain't doing nothing in that backfield. Mm-hmm. They need to pass the ball. They've had to pass the ball all season, and that's where this Lions defense, I think, is a little bit vulnerable. We saw what they did to DK. They gave up 104 yards and 7 catches last week to him. And I think it's going to be more of that this week. I know I love CD and I love his yards this week, but I've got a plus 229 touchdown score in this game that I'm taking. And his name is, how do you say his name? Jalen Tolbert. Plus 229. He's quickly becoming Dak's second favorite target out there. I know Ferguson has been out there, and he's second favorite wideout out there on the field. And I just love him to get in the end zone this week. The Lions are giving it up against the pass, especially touchdown-wise. And going back to Jerry's World in a game you just won, you have a chance to go 4-2 on the season and close the gap on the Commanders, especially with them playing the Ravens in a game that they're should lose. This is the chance for the Cowboys to come out, get a win, and kind of get back into the divisional race with this one. The Eagles are a 9.5-point favorite against the Browns. You really, really need this win this week. So give me the Cowboys on the money line at plus 150 and Jalen Tolbert to get in the end zone at plus 229.
Wow. I hate being on the other side of you.
Yeah. Well, I think we're like 1-1 right now. You got the Vikings. I got the Cowboys last week.
Oh, no, 2-1. I had the Broncos.
No, I didn't bet the Broncos. We're just talking shit about the Jets.
Okay.
Yeah.
1-1. We'll see.
1-1.
We'll see.
I like the CD play. I'm probably not going to bet this game just because I don't have a good read on it. I like CD a bunch. I actually put his yards in a lotto just because I do think that he has torched the Lions. They've been struggling with really good pass catchers, and it's at home, and the Cowboys, it's CD Lamb. What other logic do you need? So I'm with you, V, on that. Yeah, there you go. Man, W chatter, man. Let's get it. All right, boys and girls. Well, that's it. All Sauce team is back on Fridays, baby. We are going to talk. If you guys enjoy talking the NFL for Week 6, we will be back on Sunday. The three of us and Shaggy Betts will be with you guys on Sunday before this slate rocks and rolls on Gridiron Gang at 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern. We will be back also with you guys again tomorrow in the morning. Sook and I and Trizzy will be with you guys for Bestpresso in the morning time, getting you guys ready for Saturday for college football and the UFC tomorrow. Wow. What a go. What a go.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys stopping by. Congratulations to our two winners of the hat and the mug. We appreciate you guys stopping and hanging out with us. Thanks for kicking it for the entire time. We appreciate the support. Go follow Vsauce and go peep the scribbles as always. Go follow Just Sook. Go follow myself. Go follow all of us. If this is your first time watching the channel, give us a follow. Give us a subscribe. We appreciate all the support and all the love. Boys, you got any final words for the kids before we hop up on out of here?
Appreciate you, chat. Have a happy weekend. See you tomorrow. See you Sunday. We ain't going nowhere.
Best way to kick off the weekend, chat. Let's get after it.
NBA's right around the corner, boys. In chat. NBA's right around the corner. Thanks, Kadar. Appreciate you. You guys came for the winners and you stayed for the vibes. We will catch you in the morning. Have a fantastic Friday night and enjoy your weekend. Take it easy, everybody.
What you know about rolling down in the deep? Down in the deep.
Now I know y'all be loving this shit right here.
Rolling.
What you gonna do?
Rolling.
What you gonna do?
Down in the rolling.
What you gonna do? Right, y'all be loving this shit.
What you know about